He has all these issues, quote unquote, but he doesn't say any of them to me while he's here. He doesn't talk to me while he's here. He just bundles it all up so he can make this 25-minute video and blow everything out of proportion when he gets home. I have Crohn's disease. Most of you don't know what it is. It was really acting up. So I said, hey, you guys go film the rest of the video. I want to go nap. I got to take it easy.
Crohn's disease. So this is like genetic poop maxing kind of thing. Who calls their audience silly sausages? Why would you do that? You should call your audience slurs. All right, with that out of the way, I want to watch this new Willy Mac video. I started watching it the other day on stream, but I kind of tapped out, got too tired. So I'm curious to watch this and see how it is. I think it'll be good content if I had to guess. I think it'll illuminate us quite a bit. I showed you my silly sausage, please respond. Based, bro. I showed you my silly sausage, please respond. True. New Willy Mac video about MrBeast. I think this will probably be the best one about the whole situation, if I had to guess. How time can you look into this toxic streamer named Six Arakan? There are clips of him talking weird to kids. He also scams money out of people. I mean, maybe. If you're asking me to make a video about it myself, I'm probably not going to do that.
MrBeast is YouTube's biggest creator turned villain.
Do you want a heart to save your life? Or do you want a MrBeast rap Tesla? I would literally kill myself for a Tesla. Good boy.
And now his law.
Dude, Meat Canyon is so creepy, bro. Good boy. That voice is so scary. That voice scares the shit out of me. I had never even seen the Meat Canyon videos about MrBeast. I'm not like a huge Meat Canyon enjoyer, but I caught up on them the other day. They're freaky, man. They scare the shit out of me. If you haven't seen those, they're on another level. I think one of them is his most popular video. This one.
Today, I just bought my most terminally ill fan his replacement heart. Oh my god. Is that MrBeast? This kid looks sick as heck, dude.
This kid looks sick as heck.
Dude? Bruh. Do you want to...
MrBeast actually commented on this video, too. Fake. I would have asked if he wanted to do double or nothing with the Tesla for a private jet. Based.
Heart to save your life? Or do you want a MrBeast rap Tesla? I would literally kill myself for a Tesla. Good boy.
Dude, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't like that voice he does. That's very scary. It's a bit horrifying. just a little bit horrifying, I would say. Slightly.
Lawsuits for harassment, causing psychological damage, paying for contestants' therapy. Many challenges involve children. And there's even allegations of him harboring multiple predators and protecting them.
These are some very serious allegations. MrBeast's team, they are denying these allegations.
Going to reach out to me and say they want me to say it was consensual.
As well as many other allegations such as rigging competitions, faking videos, illegal lotteries, charity scams, and causing obesity.
If you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories for one meal. Poor diet and especially excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems in America, including some of the health problems that MrBeast claims to care so much about.
Some of this stuff is stupid, but other parts paint a dark picture that demands an answer. This is a complicated subject where criticism can be applied to everybody. MrBeast is seriously in the wrong. DogPack pushed false allegations.
For the obesity thing, I was having particularly like the Lunchley controversy, right? Because I was reading about that shit. If any of you follow my Twitter, you probably saw my my general just like disinterest, the classic Tom who cares moment, right? I was trying to understand the controversy around it and why people are so mad at like MrBeast, at KSI, at Logan Paul, because I don't particularly like any of these people, but I was trying to figure out like why is them selling a Lunchable? Like why is this like, a crime against God, right? Why are people mad at this? And people will say like, well, his fan base is children. And then I was like, okay, but Lunchables are marketed to children anyway. I don't really see people talking about Lunchables. So then it was like, okay, well, it's unhealthy. And I was like, okay, well, I don't think that a lot of the products that YouTubers promote are necessarily healthy at all. Literally at all. And I was like, okay, so is that really the problem? Like, why is this a unique issue? And then on top of that, I saw Dan TDM call him out. Call out like, these guys for selling a product for profit. And I was like, doesn't every YouTuber sell stuff for profit? Who fucking cares, right? And then I saw like Dan TDM, he, like people like saw KSI's response and totally misinterpreted it, right? Because Dan TDM was like, you sell, candy for profit, you sell this shit for profit, kids are going to get fat, blah, 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 that's bad. And then KSI pointed out, he was like, okay, well, you did the same thing years ago. You sold candy, which Dan TDM did do, although it was like 9 years ago. Dan TND based. So I was trying to figure out what was going on. I was trying to figure out what the controversy was. And I think I eventually wrapped my head around why people were so mad at MrBeast, why people are so mad at Logan Paul, why people are so mad at KSI, and they weren't mad at Dan TDM. I think I figured it out. Dan sold toys, not candy. No, he sold candy. He sold candy like 9 years ago. He did. But I was trying to figure out, and I kind of came around to the conclusion that I think what people say they're mad about is rarely what they're actually mad about. I don't think people actually care that products are being marketed to kids. I don't think they actually care that kids might get fat. I don't think they actually care about any of that. I don't think that matters. I think what they're actually mad about is the corporatization of YouTubers. Okay. So like there's like 3 different levels to this, in my opinion, maybe even more than that. What they're actually mad about is that MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul are not really YouTubers anymore. YouTube is just a vehicle for them to promote products. He didn't sell them, he advertised them. Okay, he made money off of selling candy to kids. It's essentially a very similar thing. There is a difference there in that he didn't create the company. You know, Dan TDM didn't create the candy company. MrBeast did create, you know, the Lunchables company or whatever, Lunchly. But like when I delved into it, I think the conclusion I came away with is people are less mad about the fact, they think they're mad about this, but I would argue they're genuinely not, because the criticism can be applied to like anyone. I don't think people are actually mad about the fact that the Lunchly thing is being sold, or like products are being sold. I think what they're actually mad about is that KSI, it's kind of a threefold thing, because these people have 3 separate fan bases. For KSI, they're mad that, you know, he used to be more of a wholesome, relatable, you know, YouTube guy who would make like silly gaming videos, and now he's like, you know, on one hand he's willing to sell these products, on the other hand he's willing to like ignore the criticisms against Logan Paul and MrBeast, and on top of that he's defended MrBeast, or not MrBeast, he's defended Logan Paul for the whole NFT thing, right? For the whole CryptoZoo thing. He basically called all the people who didn't like it haters, right? And then on top of that, you have like MrBeast with all of his allegations, right? Which, you know, a lot of them are valid criticisms. For Logan Paul, I mean, you have the whole CryptoZoo thing, you know, you have all of that. I think it's wrapped up more in what these people have done in the past and who they are than what they're actually doing. Because like I'll make a claim here, okay, to you guys. Do you guys care? Would you guys be mad at me if I sold candy? Are you mad at Oompaville, for example, for selling candy, right? I don't think anybody is. I don't think literally anybody is mad about the fact that Oompaville sells candy, myself included, at all. Nobody cares. Do you guys sell that I sell, that I'm probably going to be doing a, you know, potentially an energy drink sponsorship in the future? I've done one in the past. No, nobody cares about that. Nobody gives a fuck. Does anybody care that I sell t-shirts? No. It's because you don't have a kid audience? Well, I thought about that argument, and then I was like, okay, but is that really the reason people are mad? Because at the end of the day, kids can't buy things on their own anyway. They don't have money. It's on the responsibility of the parents what they eat, right? Like the parent literally has eyes. They can look at the nutrition facts and be like, this is good for my kid or this is bad for my kid, right? You'd unsub if I sold candy, but that seems retarded. Is everyone mad at McDonald's or Mattel? Lol. If they are, they're not being vocal about it, but I think that is a good point. But I think the greater point there is like, once again, YouTubers in general, I think a lot of people see them as more virtuous than they really are. And I guess I had like, I've always been kind of like black-pilled about YouTubers. I don't see them as particularly virtuous people. You know what I mean? I see them as just like another business guy. You know, there's some of them that are more genuine, some of them that aren't. But at the end of the day, the main motivation for most YouTubers is to make money. But I think for a lot of people who watch these guys, it's disappointing to see them turn from like somebody who has a genuine audience, a genuine connection to them, right? And then they see within, you know, a couple of years, they turn into just like people who are, you know, KSI like collaborating with Logan Paul and MrBeast and like ignoring the allegations and not really, you know, being willing to talking about it disingenuously, right? I think that's a lot of it. And I think that is a fair feeling to have. You know, feeling like a YouTuber sold out. That is a fair feeling to have. But yeah, I feel like, to me, it's like the stuff MrBeast and KSI and Logan Paul have done, I don't think it's a unique problem. And that was kind of my initial response, was like, this isn't a unique problem. Why is anybody actually mad? But then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, it is kind of unique for like a YouTuber, right? It is kind of a unique thing to a YouTuber. So I think that's kind of the conclusion I came to with that controversy. It's a lot of it is about likability, genuinely, you know?
Which is wrong.
There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends, I guess.
This guy Googled the name and ran a story to over 3 million people without confirming that's the same.
Like, versus someone like Dan TDM who has sold candy in the past to a child audience, the reason people aren't really mad at him is because, I mean, first of all, it was like almost 10 years ago. So I understand the, like, you know, the sting is taken out of that a little bit. But on top of that, it's Dan TDM, I think he comes across as a much more genuine dude in general. You know, I think he comes across more like a YouTuber. He's more down to earth versus like MrBeast at this point, KSI and Logan Paul, they're not even real people. They're not even a real person. Tom, I watch your streams and VODs at work all the time. Do you have any plans of restocking the merch? I want to buy the hat and shirt so bad. That particular hat and shirt might not get restocked. We'll have other merch drops in the future, but I can't promise on that particular hat and shirt. The thing is, for the merch, it's like, if you don't get it as soon as it comes out, you might not get it at all. That's basically the deal. Maybe we'll release it in the future, but there's no definitive plans, you know, to restock any of the past merch drops. So you just got to get it when it's hot. Good day, Tom. Love your videos. Thanks for giving me something to watch while I grind ranked Fortnite. Also, MrBeast is an L. Thank you for the dono. But yeah, it's limited edition. All the stuff I put out is limited edition. You don't get it when it's, you don't get it when it drops. You might not get it at all.
Same guy. The lack of common sense hurts my head. I need Z-biotic pre-alcohol to get through this. Fruity. We all have busy lives and we can't.
Fruity, just like you, Willy Mac show. Predator ring.
Predator ring allegations is something that has spiraled out of control for MrBeast. Nobody knows what's true and what's not. Here is the full story. It all broke with MrBeast's friend, former roommate Chris Tyson, buying Loli from Shadman and hanging on the wall of their room. Loli has sexualized drawings of minors. Chris was known to have had this for years, but criticism really didn't come until the public went after Dr. Disrespect. This was seen as exceptionally bad because this Loli was drawn by Shadman, someone who drew real-life depictions of minors. Someone asked, "Can you draw Keemstar's daughter giving head to Trump?" And Shadman replies, "I'll do it if Trump wins." This took place in 2016 and Shad followed through on that promise. Shadman would depict the actress in the Logan movie getting raped. Old social media messages from Chris would then surface. Why would you use your headset for anything other than VR?
It is kind of shocking to me that, is this shocking? I don't know. It was surprising to me that like so many people didn't know that Shadman was up to that shit. But I guess it has been like years since Shad was popular. The internet's grown a lot, you know? I feel like 3-4 years ago, even Shadman was more of like a known person. But I feel like YouTube's gotten so much bigger since like 2016. Shadman stuff never would have flown today. And I mean, it's good. It's insane that Shadman hasn't been arrested yet. Well, I think technically he didn't do anything illegal to my knowledge. Like drawing Loli porn is not a crime. You know, technically it's not, which, you know, if you think it should be illegal, I'm sympathetic to you, but wasn't he arrested for armed robbery? No, I think he was arrested for assault and then he ended up getting out at some point. But to my knowledge, that guy has been like just off the grid. Nobody fucking knows where he is right now. I don't think he's actually in jail. It is illegal. Loli porn is not illegal in the United States. It's not. If it was, then a lot of people would be in jail right now. It should be illegal. I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm going to come across as a fencer on this issue. In an ideal world, would I like Loli to be illegal? Yes. But the enforcement of that seems extremely difficult to do. Like you can get in a situation where somebody who's genuinely just drawing a young girl in a non-sexual context is also getting arrested, right? It can become a very slippery slope from a freedom of speech perspective. I don't know that making Loli illegal would effectively do what you would want it to do, which is like put pedophiles in jail. You know, I don't know that it actually would do it. He drew a real child though? No? Well, yeah, and that's not good, but I don't think that's even illegal. If it was, I think charges would have been pressed by Daphne Keene's agency, you know? I don't think it's actually illegal to draw a real child being raped, unfortunately. If it's a real picture, then obviously that's CP, but if it's art, I don't think it's actually legal. I thought Loli supposedly breaks obscenity laws. I highly doubt that. Is lolicon illegal? TheFederalCriminalAttorneys.com. All right, well, I guess we can take this website with a grain of salt. Lolicon, sometimes called loli for short, is a controversial genre of anime or manga that features explicit sexual depictions of underage female characters. The male counterpart of lolicon is Shotokan. Loli is not only legal in Japan, it's pretty common, but has been controversial. So the question is whether possessing lolicon in the United States is legal. The answer is no. As a result of the Protect Act of 2003, lolicon meets the federal criteria for CP. If you're caught in possession with it, you could face federal criminal charges, significant prison time if convicted. The Protect Act 2003. Well, how come literally no one's been arrested for this? There are people on YouTube who proudly proclaim themselves lolicons and post that shit. Protect Act of 2003, lolicon. Under the Protect Act, lolicon falls under the federal definition of CP and is considered illegal in the United States, but not in all states. Some states, including California, you don't have explicit laws against lolicon. Has anyone ever been arrested for having this kind of stuff? I don't think this has ever happened. Like literally ever. Like I think if you reported someone for lolicon, the cops would go there and be like, "Oh, there's no CP. It's a drawing. We can't do anything." I think that's what they would say. I don't think you can enforce this in any realistic manner. Supreme Court affirmed it was legal. Poll bun, where was it affirmed? Is lolicon illegal? Is lolicon illegal in the United States? Here we go. Blue to gold. Is possessing animated CP illegal?
Is animated pornography illegal? Okay, so let's kind of go through this, right? So the officer here is saying, okay, look, I'm an SRO in Idaho. We have a student that was looking at animated porn on a school computer, right? Now the school handled the issue on their side, but the officer is wondering about the criminality of these issues. Like,
it looks like a super gray area as far as being vague laws and wishy-washy enforcement. Yeah, I've never heard of a single person being arrested for having lolicon. as far as I'm aware.
Can we actually criminalize animated pornography, right? Because there is no victim, right? There's not a real person on the other end of this that was actually victimized, like traditional child porn. He says he spoke with the juvenile prosecutor and the supervisor, and we're kind of at a loss, right? We're not sure how to look at it. If it's drawn versus real seems to be the hang-up, right? But the officer worries about the future because these images look so real. And if children are being...
How many gifts and subs for time to do the thug shaker? I will not do the fucking thug shaker. Isn't Shrouded just CP? No, I don't think so at all. I think people generally, I don't think law enforcement has ever put someone away for having drawn pornography. I think technically, like legally speaking, obviously, you know, morality is important, but I think legally speaking, I don't think you could do anything about it.
Depicted, that's an issue. Who would the victim be?
You can like have some kind of like civil litigation, like you can send like a cease and desist to someone like Daphne Keene's lawyers did, but that's not criminal. You know, it's a civil case.
Okay. Wow. What a great question, because this is something that law enforcement officers around the country are going to face. So I'm going to give you a couple of pointers about how I view these issues. I'm not going to give you I can't give you legal advice for Idaho because I'm not an Idaho attorney, and I have not looked at what their law said. But I'm going to give you two laws. One is from the California that's very in my
United States versus Handley. Paul, you want me to look at this? U.S. versus Handley was a court case in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Iowa involving obscenity charges stemming from the importation of manga featuring depictions of fictional minors. Although Handley ultimately pled guilty, District Judge James E. Gritzner ruled that 18 U.S.C. would constitutionally infirm because those subsections restrict protected speech and do not require the visual depictions to be obscene. He also held the determination of what constituted obscenity was to be made by the trier of fact. Referring to the previous U.S. Supreme Court case on obscenity and CP, he held, Free Speech Coalition made clear that banned material must meet either the Ferber or Miller standards. There is no dispute the images in this case did not involve real harm, thus Ferber is inapplicable. However, Gritzner's ruling was challenged by later case law in the United States versus Dean. What is the Miller standard? Landmark decision clarifying the legal obscenity of material that lacks serious literary, artistic, political, or scientific value. Trial. United States District Court Judge James E. Gritzner was petitioned to drop some of the charges, but instead ruled that two parts of the PROTECT Act criminalizing certain depictions, without having to go through the Miller test, were unconstitutionally overboard. Handley still faced an obscenity charge. The motion was initially heard on June 24, 2008, but was not widely publicized prior to the fund's involvement. CBLDF board member Neil Gaiman remarked on how this could apply to this work. To his work at the Doll's House, saying, if you bought that comic, you'd be arrested for it. That's just deeply wrong. Nobody was hurt. The only thing that was hurt were ideas. Handley entered a guilty plea in May 2009. At Chase's recommendation, he accepted a plea bargain, believing it was highly unlikely a jury would acquit him if shown the images in question. Interesting. In February 2010, under the terms of the plea, Handley was sentenced to 6 months in jail. Without the plea, he would have faced a maximum of 15 years in prison and a $250,000 fine. Upon release, he was required to undergo 3 years supervised release and 5 years probation. Under the plea agreement, he's excluded from being registered to register as a sex offender. The United States versus Dean, which is a 2011 case in the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, called the overbreadth ruling into question because the Handley case also failed to prove that 1466A and A2 and B2 were substantially overboard in the context of a facial challenge. Legal status of drawn pornography depicting minors. Okay. United States is what we're going to look for here. So he was charged with obscenity, basically. Spain, Sweden, Taiwan, United States. In the United States, pornography is generally protected as a form of personal expression and thus governed by the First Amendment to the Constitution. Where it ceases to be protected is when it fails the Miller obscenity test, as the Supreme Court of the United States held in Miller v. California. Another case, New York v. Ferber, held that if porn depicts real child abuse or a real victim as a result of photographing or a live performance, for instance, then it is not protected speech, regardless of whether the material is obscene under the test. So it seems like the Daphne Keene thing could be illegal based on that standard. Interesting. So it looks like it's, as they say here, due to the fact that the United States obscenity law determines what is obscene in a court of law and refers to local standards and definitions exclusively on a state-by-state, case-by-case basis, the legality of drawn or fictitious material is ultimately left in a gray area, much like other forms of alternative, not safe for work. Some states pay less mind to the contents of such materials and determine obscenity based on time and place an offense may occur, while others may have strict, well-defined standards for what a community may be allowed to find appropriate. Others may have vague laws or definitions that are only used to allow the government to prosecute recidivist defenders on both a federal and state level. Can you watch the Alex Jones Bohemian Grove footage on YouTube? Love your thoughts. Maybe.
Loli gang rape porn. This is coming from a guy who owns a Shadman drawing as the centerpiece of his living room. Chris would tweet out the Loli, bonus fidget spinners to really throw in some extra autism. Chris adamantly supporting and buying Loli from a guy drawing real-life depictions of minors is insane. A major red flag at the least, but it gets worse. Chris was messaging an alleged minor kiss emojis, calling them dad. This led to Chris deleting their entire Snapchat. Chris set up a
I personally think they made a deal that if he shut down his entire website, he wouldn't press charges. But the thing is, he didn't shut down his entire website. He put it back up like right away. I think it went down for 1 day because they sent the cease and desist to his ISP as well. So the site went down for a second and then it came back up. So I think that's what actually happened. Why is he not in jail? He was never charged, that's why.
Anti-bot and was tagging minors. Here's Chris posting porn. Chris was 21 years old here, by the way. There is no defending this. Nah, it doesn't do gay for some reason, but literally everything is allowed there, so go for it. At Chris, I want your penis. Chris replies, you can have it right now.
Bruh. Bro. Right now? Dude, this screenshot is messed up. This screenshot's serious gooner shit.
Hey, shot pickle. He's behind you. Ah ha ha ha. So there was barbecue sauce on my titties? Hump me. Me. Daddy better make me come. Even the most favorable interpretation of this all just being edgy jokes, it's still extremely inappropriate. Chris is posting porn to minors. Now at some point this Discord would be scrubbed and it would become—
Tom, what do you call a bird with bubblegum? Hawk Chua. Yo. That got tweeted out real quick. Had to get that out there. Hawk Chua. True, dude. That's really true. You raise a good point. Ban that guy. No, that guy should get donos from me instead of you guys giving donos to me. That guy should be getting payroll for that one. Hawk Chua.
Come the official MrBeast server with Jimmy in it. It would still be weird. Chris says MrBeast joins in to comment on my penis size. I love it. Here's Chris linked to Shadman's Loli website. Here's the real MrBeast joining the conversation about Chris's—
It is so crazy that Chris was so morally degraded that he didn't see anything wrong with sending a link to a lolicon website to a server full of kids. Like, for some reason, his mind didn't register. They're like, oh, maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe it's not good to do that. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. I can only assume it's porn addiction that got him to that point.
Penis size, while minors are all over the Discord. Here Chris posts a picture that seems to be Danielle Bergoli, saying she's only 14? Damn, what did you think she was? 16 is legal in some states. If she's 14, I'm 14. This was seemingly confirmed by clicking the attachment and it linking to Danielle Bergoli's Wikipedia. I want to be clear, this was MrBeast's server. I don't believe for a second he didn't know Chris was talking like this. He needs to give a statement. I don't think firing Chris is enough. Chris would tweet,
I think it's possible he didn't know. Maybe he didn't know the extent. I will say, when you think about it, it's like, if that's what Chris was saying on Discord, where like stuff can be recorded, imagine what he was saying in real life, you know? Imagine what he was saying around the office. I mean, we don't have total confirmation, but there was that one guy who did an interview with the H3 podcast, and he was saying that essentially MrBeast and Chris would constantly joke about Loli. They'd be like, I love Loli, I love jerking off to Loli, stuff like that. And he even said that some people on the MrBeast team had like just pissed off this one dad who worked with them to the point that he like crashed out and threatened to beat the fuck out of one of them because they were joking about his kid, you know, in that way, which is, you know, very disturbing. So it's very possible. Morning Time, would you ever do interviews with new YouTubers gaining popularity, get their backstory and any weird takes they have? I don't know, maybe. It's like, would you ever walk outside? I mean, maybe, yeah, potentially. It's possible.
I'd like to apologize for my past behavior or comment. If it hurt or offended anyone, it was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we mutually decided that it's best that I permanently step away from all things MrBeast. I want to add that I never groomed anyone. To lump these two factors together, that my behavior extended beyond bad edgy jokes, is disgusting, and it did not happen. I learned that my humor is not acceptable. Your old humor was fine if it was with and about adults, but it wasn't. MrBeast would give a statement more so saying he fired her than it was this mutual stepping away. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and am disgusted and appalled by such unacceptable acts. But again, you own the server this happened in. You recorded videos from the same room the Loli was hanging in. I don't believe him. Jimmy goes on about how he hired a third party to investigate misconduct in the company and removed Chris from the company completely. This would blow up even more when a former MrBeast employee named DogPack's—
I'm curious what the result of that investigation is. Are we ever going to get any public knowledge about that? It seems to me like MrBeast is probably not responding at this point. Or if he is, it seems like he's waiting to see if DogPack puts out another video. Oh, fuck. Hold on. Audio should be good now.
MrBeast would give a statement more so saying he fired her than it was this mutual stepping away. Over the last few days, I've become aware of the serious allegations of Ava Tyson's behavior online, and am disgusted and appalled by such unacceptable acts. But again, you own the server this happened in. You recorded videos from the same room the Loli was hanging in. I don't believe him. Jimmy goes on about how he hired a third party to investigate misconduct in the company and removed Chris from the company completely. This would blow up even more when a former MrBeast employee named DogPack would say that everybody in the company knew that Chris was a risk to children.
People have internally known at the company that like Chris is kind of a potential minors attracted person.
I really wish he provided proof for that. I feel like that would have been really good because he just kind of said that passively and then went into other allegations, but would have liked to have that because Jake the Viking, I don't see as the most reliable source anymore, considering his sex offender brother-in-law. I don't necessarily trust Jake the Viking's judgment on these situations. He seems like a very spiteful guy. So I would like to see some proof of that claim that every single person knew, or it was like, at the very least, I'd like to see someone saying there was like rumors at the company, you know?
The company protects her, and they were protecting her, and they protected her as long as they could. Jimmy knew, everyone knew. So it's a mess when like MrBeast contestants are being exposed to like minor attracted persons and the company's protecting them, you know, encouraging like almost children simping for these people.
DogPack would try to expose that multiple higher-ups at the MrBeast company would be predators, with one being on the registry. This is Jake Weddle, another former MrBeast employee's testimony.
I heard, you know, people have been let go for sexually assaulting some very younger people.
The person that Jake Weddle is accusing, by the way, goes by Delaware.
Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex.
So was he talking about other people that were let go for sexually assaulting young people? Is he talking about someone else and then he transitions to the Delaware thing? I never really picked up on that and how, I don't know.
Sex offender on the registry.
It seems like he's talking about multiple people here.
And everything. Who worked there.
1 to 11 years old. I'm gonna blur some of the information because he was 16 when he committed the crime. This was known by Chris Tyson, who posted this information, which makes people like me certain that Jimmy knew. If you were making a company that targets children, why are you hiring an offender?
That's a good point. If Chris knew while they were working at the company, how would Jimmy not have known at some point in time? It must have come up to him. I remember Jake the Viking made some tweets saying that there was some kind of meeting that he had with Jimmy and Jimmy's mom. Jimmy's mom! I remember there was some kind of private meeting they had where he basically said that there was some kind of conversation where they talked about the sex offender stuff, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry for what I did. It was a long time ago. I'm a different person." But there didn't seem to be any definitive proof from Jake the Viking. You know, with certain people, I'm willing to trust them more than others when it's like dubious information. With Jake the Viking, I'm really not willing to trust almost anything he says without like definitive proof, you know? In your ideal world, you have Chris arrested? I mean, yeah.
That went after a prepubescent child. It would later be confirmed that Jimmy knew by Delaware's brother-in-law, Jake the Viking. Here's the truth. Yes, Delaware is...
I just don't know how much I can trust Jake. I don't know if I can trust him, because he was so morally righteous about how Jimmy knew everything about Chris, right? So morally righteous about how, you know, Jimmy knew it all. Jimmy knew about the allegations. Jimmy knew about the lolicon. Jimmy knew about the Shadman stuff. Jimmy knew about the real kids that Shad was drawing. Like, he was so adamant about that. And then he was also hiding the fact that his own brother-in-law at the company, who got him hired in the first place, was a sex offender and had actually been charged. So, and like convicted. So I don't know. It's hard for me to say.
Is my brother-in-law. He is a registered sex offender. When he was 21, a 16-year-old girl accused him and others of SA when she was 11. Delaware took the plea deal. That's why there was no jail time, but he still had to register. Before being hired, Delaware sat down with Jimmy and Sue, Jimmy's mom, and explained to them everything. So yes, Jimmy knew.
The information that Sue, Jimmy's mom, was the head of HR seems like such a bad conflict of interests, right? Like, your mother should not be the HR person at your company, because she's going to view everything that happens that's negative about you, like, you know, favorably towards you, instead of the person that's a potential victim in the situation, you know? I think that was a huge misstep from the very start. I don't think that should have ever been the case.
But again, this incident happened in 2010. Delaware was hired in 2017/18. He was reluctant to be in the video because of the charges. That's why he wore a mask. Now, I understand that Delaware was a minor when he committed the crime, and if he wanted to work in retail or construction, I'd be cool with it. Not on the MrBeast brand that centers around selling chocolate to children. He allegedly met up with an underage fan at his house. The formal onboarding document was leaked by former MrBeast employees, and in it, Jimmy admits,
I'd say the average MrBeast viewer is a teenage memer that likes video games.
If your audience is primarily minors, you can't have someone that feels like they need to wear a mask to hide from their criminal past of assaulting a prepubescent minor. Crazy that even needs to be said.
He'll be in videos. He'll be in thumbnails.
The thing that's so hard for me to understand is, like, if Jimmy knew, why would this guy be in videos at all? If Jimmy had full knowledge of this, why would even include him in the videos? Like, if you're thinking you're like sociopathic MrBeast, right? You're thinking he's like this Machiavellian like guy who's like pulling all the strings. You would think he would realize relatively early on that was just a bad idea. Like, not even just morally, but also like for self-preservation purposes, having that guy around is such a terrible idea. Why? Why the fuck is this person in the videos? He thought he was invincible? Maybe it's just pure hubris. I don't know. He had to have known it would come out someday, right? I mean, the thing is, like, you can say like he didn't think people would know, but the video got like 100 million fucking views. He had to think that at some point in the company, he would have somebody that would have a problem with him, whether it's a base, you know, justified criticism or not, and they would bring out this stuff that's really, you know, important and is like a huge blemish on his reputation. You know, having a sex offender in videos that are made for kids. Like, you would think that he would have some kind of foresight to determine, like, okay, that was probably a bad idea. That was probably a bad idea. Why did it need to be that guy? He couldn't find someone else. That's what I'm saying. Why the fuck? Why was it that guy? Why was it that guy? It could have been anyone else. Jake said they needed someone to fill in, but he's like a multi-millionaire. He could find someone to fill in. He's got a ton of employees. Mr. Thomas seems tomfoolery is about, perhaps even some shenanigans or even silliness. Most importantly, there seems to be gooning afoot. What can be done? I'm glad you asked. I think they just have to stop. I think they just got to stop. Get your anti-gooner gear ready for videos like this. All right, this is important stuff. You don't want to fall. You don't want to fall victim. I don't think MrBeast is as smart as everybody thinks he is. He screws up all the time. The only reason we know about it now is because there's a spotlight on him after the controversies. I mean, he is very smart in the way that he's really good at growing a YouTube channel. Is he like super tactful, calculated every moment? Probably not. But this just seems. It seems so obvious. It seems so obvious. Like you don't put a sex offender in your videos. It seems so obvious. Like whatever you think the reality of it is, and maybe he's an innocent guy, or oh, he was a minor when he did it, which is a retarded excuse. But like. It seems so obvious. It seems so goddamn obvious to not have the guy in the videos. I do not understand it at all. It does not make sense to me.
He'll be around, and whenever he is, he's wearing a mask. Why would you wear a mask? Why would you conceal your face? It's like, what are you concealing? That you are a registered sex offender? How much more can you literally cover up a sex offender with a physical mask? Like, do I have to? Is it more on the nose?
MrBeast looking past Chris.
What I'm so curious about is like, okay, if Jimmy knew, then he must have thought the mask was a good idea. But if he didn't know that this guy was a sex offender, then what was the explanation that kind of guy would give? What was the explanation that Delaware would give? Like, oh, I just like wearing masks. You know, I don't want people to find out who I am, and I don't want to be a popular guy on YouTube. I just want to be in the video. Like, what? Naive? You want to help a guy on hard times and think about the repercussions? But like, there's a level of naivety that's understandable. And then there's like the guy that you're extending charity to and giving an opportunity is a sex offender. Like, there's no reason why you should be risking your entire business on this one guy. It doesn't make sense, man. Wouldn't they question why his name was Delaware? Well, his name was Delaware in the videos, for sure. But behind the scenes, they must have all known his real name, right? It's not like they were all just calling him by some code name for, and like never questioning it, right? Like they must have known that he had his real name.
And giving him way too much of the benefit of the doubt, I sort of have sympathy for. They were roommates, good friends. And in his onboarding document, he even says, Chris was the first subscriber. Someone Jimmy found funny as they're homies. With Delaware, I don't get it at all. Now, Delaware hasn't worked at MrBeast in years, but it's still worthy criticism. We still need an explanation. How do you know this guy's history and go, yeah, he's a complete liability. Just make him wear a mask. Are you insane? But this is
exactly. Are you insane? Like, even if MrBeast is some kind of like, if you want to believe he's like a terrible person who wants to support pedophiles genuinely, let's say that is the case. If he is that kind of person, he would have to think like this is going to come back in the worst way possible. Like clearly he's focused on long-term growth and success on YouTube. He would have to know that this is such a bad idea. You have to know that.
This is where the allegations start to go sideways. All journalistic ethics go out the window. Most of the criticism of MrBeast comes from DogPack404, who leverages his time working at MrBeast to give himself credibility. If he works for MrBeast, he must know these claims are true, but just can't speak up because of NDAs.
Even if you think these people deserve rehabilitation, there's other ways Jimmy could be helping. I mean, first of all, why does he have to personally help the sex offender? But secondly, like, yeah, like why is the way that this guy is getting back on his feet being in videos for children? I just, this is like one of the criticisms against MrBeast that's so justified, and it's so perplexing how this guy was even on payroll at any point in time. All right, I'm not reading that out, but thanks for the dono.
Allegations has to do with James Warren.
So quick profile on James Warren. He's Jimmy's cousin and secret CEO, and I say secret because, you know, they're not very open about that fact.
This secret CEO has allegations ranging from yelling in the office to domestic abuse, animal abuse, fraud.
From what I've heard of James Warren's character, how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog, defrauded people in his own ways. I heard that he's very aggressive. I've heard him referred to as a psychopath who screams at people and hits his...
For this entire situation, I don't understand how he was just so willing to make an allegation like this without evidence. To this day, I don't understand this. Especially when like he included one screenshot of one random person. Like we don't even know who this person is. I don't know if they worked at MrBeast. Like he's just like, oh, I heard all this stuff. It's like, bro, I think we should witch hunt anyone on the internet who's a bad person. Thanks for the dono, Milky.
His girlfriends, there's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him. And I say allegedly because it turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren who assault their girlfriends, I guess. So I'm still having people look into these cases.
I'm sorry, but what? He's got an anonymous text message saying James Warren is a psychopath abuser and found a court case with a guy named James Warren, but he's not sure if it's even the same guy.
It turns out there's a lot of people in North Carolina named James Warren.
Well, then maybe you should figure that out.
True. Maybe you should figure it out. You could have waited like a week to gotten those FOA requests, and then the video would be like way, way better. Way more ironclad. Thank you, Josh, for becoming a member. Can you say EB is so gidda pilled, please. Well, I just did it. There you go. EB is so gidda
before posting it online. He says he's been using a YouTuber named Surprise Witness to verify these claims.
I'm still having people.
She's like a delusional conspiracy theorist, by the way. She believes that a channel with 2,000 subscribers, Cope and Seethe, she believes that guy is paid off personally by MrBeast to go through DogPack's already public Reddit history. It's like completely retarded.
Look into these cases, specifically that Surprise Witness on YouTube. She's been super helpful in like behind the scenes, just submitting freedom of information requests and just helping me out a lot in general. She's super nice, super smart.
But even she says it's not the same guy.
I did look into this and I went into it thinking he had done that. Okay, I went into it thinking he did it and I'm just gonna have to find the paperwork. But suffice it to say that I do not think that the case number that is associated with this picture right here, and I told Dawson this, and that's why he said this in the video, I do not think that this particular case.
Not really what he said in the video, though, is it? That's not exactly what he said. Thank you, Cool Monkey, for the dono. It's very, look, I'll make a statement here, okay? I think some people think I'm going too soft on DogPack. I like DogPack as a guy. I think his motivations are based and true. I think he does want to do the right thing. I think he genuinely has brought forth a lot of good information regarding MrBeast, and you can't ignore the real allegation. That being said, I just don't think that anybody should take everything he says at face value when he doesn't provide evidence. That's my main thing, right? When you make a claim, you got to have evidence. When you make an allegation, you got to have evidence. You need to have a standard of evidence for claims you make. It's extremely important. Holy fuck, UWY in chat, you're getting banned. I would have answered it maybe if you had asked it once, but you asked me what mic I used 30 times. I use your mom's microphone. I just pulled it out of her pussy.
Case is the same James Warren for many reasons.
So she told DogPack that this wasn't the same James Warren and he still put it in the video. Why? Well, because he got an anonymous text message. That's the level of research that goes into his videos. When asked why he would go forward with unverified allegations, he said that it would take 2 weeks to verify them, and that was just...
Well, just wait 2 weeks. Just wait 2 weeks, bro. Literally just wait 2 weeks. That's it.
Too long, I guess. Just too long to wait for these life-ruining allegations.
We found the exact James Warren, and I had people run a background check on him. It's just that there's 6 court cases, which could be traffic violations, could be DV related, but it doesn't say on the, I guess, the public registry what it is. So you have to submit.
So just wait. So just wait for those requests. I don't understand.
The freedom of information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason.
Oompa isn't the least bit critical.
I just showed like more corroborating testimony. I mean, it is testimony. I feel like the disclaimers were pretty clear and like they were genuine, like it is allegedly.
Also, when you can, look at the James Warren domestic violence case against his ex-girlfriend. He apparently abused her for months before she filed charges. This person is alleging that there was a domestic violence case against James Warren. It's now up to you to verify those claims. He doesn't. Bro, you haven't even found the charges. DogPack again confirms that he didn't want to wait for the freedom of information request. He just goes forward with it.
You have to submit a freedom of information request, which then takes like 2 weeks. So that's the real reason.
So DogPack couldn't wait 2 weeks before blasting this guy with allegations. But remember, he's an anonymous employee. He probably knows something that we don't. Well, he worked there like a month, so no, not at all. DogPack would later go on Twitter admitting he was wrong about the whole thing. Who could have seen that coming? If only you waited.
Nobody. Nobody could have seen that coming. I got so much shit for my first video where I was like, you need to have evidence for this shit. I got so much shit, bro. I got so much shit, okay? And I'm not trying to play the victim here, but I did get so much shit. Everybody was like, it's gonna happen. That guy clearly beats girls. And to this day, a lot of commentary channels that reported on this stuff have refused to talk about DogPack's follow-ups. And I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know. If you're not gonna talk about a situation, that's fine. I don't think you're obligated to talk about MrBeast's like allegations. I don't think you're obligated to, but if you're going to talk about it, if you're going to make videos where you push allegations that DogPack has made, that ultimately, you know, one of them seemingly was false, I feel like you kind of have somewhat of a responsibility maybe to update your audience on that. I don't know. Is that crazy to say? Thank you, Bugsy, for becoming or actually for the 20. Appreciate that. Big W.
A little bit longer. I still have some freedom of information request out, but an alleged current...
I feel like DogPack hasn't worked a 9 to 5, doesn't understand that most workplaces have gossip that's usually not ever true. Maybe. The biggest issue for me is just like, this person said this, so therefore I'm making an allegation. And it's like, no, like just like verify it, or like don't publish it. Like publish. If you're going to publish an allegation, have evidence behind it, have proof behind it. For the Zen addiction, thank you, brother. It's not that much of an ask. It's really not. And especially frustrating because his other videos were a lot better. a lot better. And this third video, just like, I think it soured the community's trust on him in general. It's going to make them scrutinize him a lot more.
MrBeast employee reached out to give me their side of the story. So you still haven't confirmed if they work there? That's alleged too? Everything with this guy is alleged. Oh, I heard this from someone.
I heard he got in trouble. I heard. That's what I heard too.
He continues, I think this person is mistaken with a lot of details, but I now believe the James Warren domestic violence case that circulated in the office was most likely the wrong James Warren. Of course, none of my sources knew that.
But like, okay, if your sources didn't know that, maybe you could have anticipated that they were wrong. Like, oh, my sources didn't know that. You don't know what they knew. They could have been intentionally lying. They could have just heard it through the grapevine, 8 degrees of separation away from whoever initially made the claim. He himself said his standard of evidence is if it comes from the mouth of someone claiming to be a current or former MrBeast employee. Yeah, it's a terrible standard.
DogPack is not clear about how many anonymous sources there are or where we're getting the information from. Is it these same people? In the text messages, the employee says, oops, sorry, alleged employee. People know about this, but as far as I know, it's not true. One day we did a Google search in the office.
People joke about this.
Is what they check, but nothing. The originator of the rumors was Jimmy's ex-girlfriend, Maddie Spitell. She's a wine drunk and always wanted to gossip on set. She told me a lot, but everyone has to be nice to her because she was dating Jimmy. If you can't tell by now, MrBeast is filled with gossip rumors and toxic crap. The employee continues by saying DogPack's anonymous source was there when we Googled James Warren's case, but that domestic case was another James Warren. Jokes were made, but it wasn't him. DogPack excuses this easily avoidable mistake by saying, I tried multiple times to get in touch with the person who allegedly found the charges before making my video, and I did not get a response. I should have waited for my...
It's like, you didn't get a response. Okay, well then just don't publish the allegation until you do have one or until you get the FOA request, right? Like, just don't do that. Chris Tyson, EDP for Creator Clash, that would be a legendary baseline. I would watch that.
Freedom of information requests. However, I was clear in my video that they were just allegations of charges. No, you actually made very clear that they need to fire James Warren right now.
You weren't really clear about that. Like, you say it's allegedly and then you draw like 100 different conclusions based on, you know, unverifiable evidence.
Fire James Warren in Locoya Hill. Fire them, don't just move them around. Or I'm gonna start dropping nukes.
Just because you say the word alleged before making life-ruining accusations doesn't mean it's an...
Why not just drop the nukes now, though? I don't get that. Why not already just drop the nukes? Why wait? Why bait the audience with evidence? Like, why not just release it?
Okay thing to do. It just prevents you from getting sued for defamation. He continues to justify what he did by saying, I'm not a professional journalist or investigator. My
well, you're acting as one.
Goal is to bring credible allegations.
This is the same thing that WestJet said. He's like, I'm not a journalist. And it's like, okay, well, is that an excuse for like spreading misinformation? Or at least like, you know, not doing your due diligence before you publish stuff to the audience? I'm not a journalist, guys. I never claimed to be a journalist. Well, you're acting as one, so, you know, toughen up a little bit.
Allegations to light. You don't have to be a professional journalist to know that this was reckless. This would be completely unacceptable for any commentary channel to do. So what does DogPack do with his nearly 3 million view video calling a guy a dog beating, domestic...
How long have you been shit maxing? Years and years, since birth. I've had motion with poop maxing since birth. Well, it's just base N-word sayer, so it's okay. Yeah, true, exactly. What did DogPack pretend he was going to show you the video earlier? He should have cut half of this. If he had shown it to me, I definitely would have told him to cut half of it for sure. I would have told him to cut the majority of that video, at least from the beginning. I don't know if he would have, but I don't know if he pretended. Maybe he just forgot. I don't know if he was being disingenuous there, but yeah. I would have had a lot of choice words for that video if I had seen it before release.
Partner abusing fraud? He keeps it up. The pinned comment states, I'm very confident everything in this video will age well. Only then, if you click read more, he gives the update that he's most likely wrong about James Warren. This was DogPack's biggest mistake, but
I feel like there should have been a follow-up video there for sure.
There's other things that come off as incredibly sloppy. DogPack finds out that James Warren was a partner for a company that was committing fraud.
James Warren is the former COO of acquisitions of a real estate investment firm, which is one of the businesses listed in this indictment of his former business partner, Joshua Hutchins, who was sentenced to 10 years in prison. In fact, he's actually mentioned in the court transcripts of this case. She testifies, I came to know Mr. Hutchins through a very reputable and successful real estate attorney who highly recommended Mr. Hutchins and who eventually left his agency to become the chief operating officer of Mr. Hutchins' investment firm,
which was James Warren.
She testifies, my trust was and has been severely violated. This is the equivalent of financial. Many of us entrusted Mr. Hutchins, who we've come to know to be fraudulent.
Now, this indictment is against Mr. Hutchins, not James Warren, because there isn't enough evidence that James knew. Yet DogPack still incriminates him, even though the courts don't.
And I told him I could not take the risk. He and James Warren, the then realtor, stated, oh, real estate. She goes on to describe how they presented it as a safe investment opportunity for her, and then James Warren's business partner defrauded her of $1.3 million. Now, can I claim definitively that James Warren was aware of the fraud that was taking place and willingly complicit in helping Mr. Hutchins defraud old ladies? No. But from what I've heard of James Warren's character, how he's hit ex-girlfriends, not let them leave the house, beat his dog.
None of that is confirmed in any way.
It's not. It's like he'll say on one hand, he'll be like, "Oh, it's definitively." You know, it's not definitive that he was involved in the fraud and he knew what was going on. But I personally think that's the case. And it's like, well, why? Why do you personally think that? If you, like, can you tell us why you personally think that? Like, what? Because you heard stuff from a bunch of random people that you don't know that could be full of shit. Thanks for being a member for 5 months, Mega Lacona. It's extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. Like, if you're gonna believe that he was complicit in this crime, at least have some reason for it. Like, literally, it went to court. The Josh Hutchins guy went away for 10 years, and James Warren did not. It's like he has kind of a vendetta. It's like, oh, well, he knew this guy, so he must be guilty. It's like, really? Is that actually how things work anywhere? I don't think it's how things work at all. Fell into the age-old bias trap. I mean, it seems that way. Unless we get some more information in the future that maybe he's been withholding. I don't know.
I personally believe that when he was working with Mr. Hutchins, he was in similar company. I think this.
But if he was withholding it, like, how am I supposed to trust him in this video?
COO of acquisitions would know and be sort of responsible for properties not being properly acquired through the court system.
But why didn't the prosecution go after him too? Bro, you have to think. Do you think the prosecution was just being nice to James? This guy sees an accusation that can be made and he just makes it. Another great example is Locoya Hill.
In late 2021, he was allegedly fired for sexually assaulting his assistant. Now, I put fired in quotation marks because he was actually quietly moved to the dubbing company, which was Unilingo at the time.
The evidence that Locoya got fired for this is more anonymous text messages. Locoya is gay, not that it really matters for this story.
He was actually brought back to MrBeast in 2023 after sexually assaulting his assistant prior, and promoted to Chief Financial Officer, which is how I personally was introduced to him. Testimony from former MrBeast employees talking about Locoya.
This video was just so sloppy. Like, I'm kind of more inclined to believe the Locoya stuff just because of how many people said the same exact thing in these, or not same exact thing, similar-ish things in these screenshots. But even with that, like, the stories are different. There's clearly rumors being spread around. No person here knows directly seemingly what happened or like has direct knowledge of like the paperwork that was filed or maybe what went on. So it's extremely frustrating to see him push even this with like, there's gotta be evidence, you know? If he says he's got nukes, just fucking drop them. Drop the nukes. Get rid of them.
Hill.
The testimony. I heard Locoya acted inappropriately with redacted. Booking hotel rooms with one bed, walking around in his underwear, showing off sex toys. They say he was fired for this and moved to the dubbing company. Employee 2 corroborates that Locoya sexually harassed someone, was moved to another company, and brought back. Employee number 3 agrees. This allegation has 3 different employees all corroborating the same story, meaning that there's probably some legitimacy to it. But then you get to employee number 4. Locoya sexually assaulted multiple people, apparently
yeah, which is a completely different claim than what the other people said. Like, apparently roofied multiple people. How does this person even know? They just heard it through the grapevine, and this is just being published.
Roofied multiple people as well. So this went from sexual harassment to a full-on rape accusation. If nobody else is claiming that he roofied people, your only source isn't even confident, then you probably shouldn't go forward with it until you get more confirmation. DogPack would admit in a recent interview that he had a statement saying the relationship with Locoya and his assistant was consensual, and that the internal report agreed with it. Other employees confirmed the—
Wait, what? Why didn't he release that then? Why did he only release the most damning stuff instead of, you know, painting the full picture? Wait, did he actually, he said that he had a statement saying the relationship was consensual? Why did he not put that in there?
Locoya and his assistant was consensual, and that the internal report agreed with it.
I mean, I'm not saying you have to necessarily trust the internal report, but you got to at least have that in the video. You got to at least have it there.
Employees confirmed the internal report happened.
Started messaging me about the Locoya stuff, saying that it was consensual. And what I found out from other people is that when they did the internal investigation at MrBeast, they determined it was consensual.
So this guy could be platforming 2 false allegations because he's not properly venting. DogPack going about it this way diminishes and draws speculation of what should be—
Am I going schizo? He said venting, right?
Because he's not properly venting.
He didn't say vetting. This isn't like the last time, right? Where it was grammarizing, but it was actually glamorizing. He did say venting, right? He did say venting like Among Us. Am I schizo? He said venting. Tell me I'm not wrong. Tell me I'm not wrong. Please. He did say venting. Okay.
DogPack going about it this way diminishes and draws
I feel like I'm losing my mind. He did say venting. Venting W.
Speculation of what should be insane news. The MrBeast company moved and hired back a sexual harasser. DogPack would try and justify his unsubstantiated rape claims to Nicholas Dioria by posting unsubstantiated pedo claims, saying, if the only claims was roofies, I would have not included it. He then links a screenshot of an anonymous source claiming they have paid money to keep kids he abused silent. Most were underage. Isn't that how all kids work? They have to be underage? I don't even get it. Nick asks, now he kids, LMAO. DogPack replies, I downplayed the whole Locoya thing in my video, if anything. I make it seem like there's only one victim. Nick has to spell it out for him. Dude, that's a completely new allegation. And DogPack admits, yeah, I don't believe it, so I didn't post it. So then why are you posting it in Nick's DMs to justify a claim, saying, I know he has multiple victims, I don't know about rape? Then why is it in your video? And
but like, how do you know? Like, how do you actually know? Because someone said it? Obviously, in cases like this with sexual harassment, sexual assault, like, obviously it can be difficult sometimes to get, you know, corroborating evidence and testimony for that kind of thing. It can be a somewhat difficult situation to prove something like that between something that happens between two people that isn't recorded. I am empathetic to that, but if you're going to publish an allegation, you got to have more than just like a bunch of people saying kind of similar but kind of different things at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think the standard of evidence should be what DogPack personally believes. It should be what he can personally prove. You hawk to be skibbity me, Turdy Tom is live. I think that's a great point.
Just now, DogPack did an interview where he claims that he talked to the victim and that they're trying to get hush money.
I've spoken to the victim, but the victim was trying to get hush money, and which I supported fully. MrBeast, I guess, wanted was for him to say it was consensual, and I have a recorded phone call with him where he's talking about that. I mean, you'd have to like distort his voice and everything to use that.
So, you were right. They are going to come to that. They're going to reach out to me and say they want me to say that it was consensual.
The victim's friend has now come forward and corroborates that they were drugged and raped.
The interaction with Locoya was non-consensual. It's hard to consent when the person was being drugged without their knowledge.
So then why wasn't this information in DogPack's original claims? Well, because he didn't have the information yet. He admits he just got lucky.
I posted that video with the roofie allegation. I was like, I'm not so sure. I went on Oopaville's.
Like, I feel like in the first few videos, what was happening was like I feel like in the first few videos, it was like, okay, DogPack would say a thing, he would have evidence for it, and it was like, okay, now we kind of seemingly know that this happened, you know? But I feel like in the third video, it's like we're having to pick apart ourselves the allegations and like gather the information from his video, from other sources to try and figure out what's happening, which shouldn't really be the case. It should just be his video is like the definitive one. Like, I don't think word of mouth is enough most of the time.
Channel, and I was like, I wasn't sure about that one. And then people had reached out to me, and it was actually consistent with certain victims' stories, I guess, from people close to the victim.
So he's slinging everything he gets at the wall and hoping it leads to more information. It's reckless because this is the internet. These names will be tainted forever whether they're proven innocent or guilty. But it is.
Yeah, you look at any comment section about this shit, it's like everybody just believes the random claims being made because the audience is retarded. The audience is fucking stupid, and you always have to remember that the audience is stupid. They'll just believe what you tell them to believe. Look what happened with Quite. Quite was called a rapist with literally no proof, and thousands of people believed it on Twitter with no evidence whatsoever, right? Because #BelieveAllVictims. As soon as Quite came out with a video that destroyed it and showed his side, everybody flipped because nobody actually has critical thinking skills. Everybody just believes the first thing they hear. That's it. The audience is stupid.
It's kind of working. I just think you probably could have gotten this testimony without overstepping your knowledge and going forward with allegations that weren't backed by anyone else. I'm gonna let Nick remind everybody just how little tangible evidence DogPack had.
You know what's really fucked about this? Is so much of this stuff is based off of office testimony. And now this guy has to confront the harsh reality that the water break conversations at MrBeast aren't always accurate information, even if a lot of sources are coming to tell you the same thing. The way he talks about Locoya Hill is the same way he talked about James Warren. Well, a ton of employees corroborated the fact that James Warren was charged.
There's allegedly domestic violence charges that were filed against him.
Everyone wants to believe the bigger guys are bad. Well, the thing is, like, I don't think MrBeast is a good person. There's a lot of stuff to, you know, substantiate that. I think there's a lot of legitimate allegations that were made that seemingly had a lot of evidence behind them. Like there is a lot of criticism to be made. I just don't think that every single criticism should be greenlit because we don't like that guy. It's like you have to have a standard of evidence. That's what being principled is. Being principled is treating everyone as innocent until proven guilty, you know?
Ooh.
It's bad because if you remember, James Warren was never actually charged. In a leaked email at MrBeast written by Jimmy, leaked, it was done on purpose. On August 7th, due to the Chris Tyson drama, MrBeast hired a law firm to do an investigation on company culture and allegations of inappropriate behavior. This led to several people being replaced, including Locoya, who was their COO. So it seems like there was some truth behind these allegations. DogPack's biggest bombshell is that Locoya may still be working for MrBeast. They just moved him to the dubbing department.
So they did what I wanted and let him go, right? Well, just on a whim, I decided to look into the Creator Global LinkedIn, and it had gone private. I reached out to one of my connections close to MrBeast, and I said, hey, can you look into this account for me? And this is what they saw. Locoya Hill, listed as the current president at Creator Global.
This absolutely needs an explanation from Jimmy. So when it comes to the MrBeast Predator ring, these are the verdicts. Chris Tyson, who made inappropriate jokes and comments with minors, who posted and Loli to minors, actively supported a guy who drew Loli of real minors, and actively hung Loli art on his wall, which Jimmy knew about for years. The evidence is the messages, the mods, and the videos. Totally guilty. We have Delaware, who essayed a 1 to 11-year-old when they were 16. He was convicted for this, and MrBeast knew but didn't care. The evidence is from 2 nameable high-profile MrBeast employees, and a public record. Totally guilty. And then we have Locoya Hill, who probably didn't touch kids, but does have first-hand allegations of drugging and rape from the victim. And according to several anonymous employees, he at the least sexually harassed his assistant and was moved around the company, but never officially fired. The victim also claims that hush money is on the table.
They are going to come to that. They're going to reach out to me and say they want me to say that it was consensual.
He still right now might be working for a Mr.
Hush money. Hush money's on the table. That's a really crazy claim. Is there like a history of hush money being offered? I would really like to know that. I want to know how deep that goes. Why are you mad? I'm always mad. I'm always angry. I'm like, the Black Spider-Man suit.
MrBeast owned company. The evidence is DogPack's anonymous employees and LinkedIn. These are somewhat credible, but are still very much allegations and could still be proven wrong with a response from Jimmy. We'll have to wait and see, but something definitely seems shady. Then there's James Warren, who's been accused of domestic abuse, beating his dog, and fraud, but none of these accusations are coming from primary sources. They're all coming from DogPack's anonymous sources who have heard of things. In fact, the company rumor of him having domestic charges, when fact-checked, wasn't even the same James Warren. There's also no evidence that James Warren knew of the fraud his former business partner committed.
So to be clear, not only is it some other James Warren that works at the company, not only is it not that guy, it's not the same James Warren whatsoever. People at the company just heard this rumor, they spread it around, and DogPack published that in a video, seemingly believing it. It's very frustrating. Jimmy's never responding. It seems that way to me. I feel like he's not responding at this point. It seems like the drama's dying down mostly. There are videos coming out here and there. I think there will still be MrBeast commentary videos going forward, but it doesn't seem to me like he's going to respond at all. Does he need to make a statement or he can wait it out? Or can he wait it out? I mean, if you look at his channel, seemingly this controversy has not affected his bottom line on YouTube. I think the real thing that's probably going to affect his bottom line is the Amazon lawsuit, which has a lot of merit to it, seemingly, or some merit. I'll say it has seemingly some merit, just based on how consistent the lawsuit is with the articles and stuff like that. Like from the New York Times, it seems like there is some really weird shit going on there. So I think that could potentially sour the Amazon deal, or I think they've already paid him, but it could sour the Amazon deal. It could ruin the show. The show might not even come out. And if it does come out, it might perform very poorly. People might not like it because of all the allegations around it. And ultimately, I think he's going to have a really hard time getting deals like this in the future. Like, none of the comments are even about this. So many people don't even know what's happening. So many of them are just like children who watch his stuff. I will say he looks stressed out. He looks like he lost a bunch of weight.
Behind me are 100 sets of twins, and they're going to compete for $250,000. 100 pairs of identical.
Like he looks like I wouldn't say he looks sickly, but he looks like he's lost a lot of weight, probably from stress behind this whole thing. Like, look at him. He looks like he lost like 30 pounds.
The fourth vote, which is now irrelevant.
His Insta comments are full of people talking about the allegations. Well, yeah, but I mean, these are people who are going to seek it out, right? People who are regular watchers of his content, I don't think are even aware that this is going on, because they're not like YouTube community viewers. They're not people who are watching the commentary community. They're people who just watch YouTube very casual. They're boomers, so they don't even know. They probably don't even know there's any controversy at all. And if they did hear about it, They probably didn't even look at it.
He was not charged. These allegations hurt DogPack's credibility and should not have been made. Now, these three alone are really bad and absolutely shows a pattern of behavior with Jimmy. Jimmy is looking the other way and protecting his friends while knowing these people are a liability to his audience and the company. It's so much worse than I ever thought it would be. But DogPack is 1 for 2, maybe 3 with his allegations, and has done nothing to fix his 3 million view video. You leaving this up and hiding behind, well, I said allegedly, so who cares? It discredits your own anonymous sources as well as...
I mean, he says allegedly, but he's the one making the allegation, right? He's the person with a platform publicly making the allegation.
Actual credible allegations that they've made.
Ludwig said he wouldn't work with them anymore if he didn't respond. He hasn't yet. Yeah, I think a lot of YouTubers are kind of at the top, if I had to guess, because I don't know Ludwig, I don't know Critical, but you know, they've both been in his videos. I think a lot of them are kind of waiting and seeing how it goes just to decide if it's like advisable from a public relations standpoint to ever be in a MrBeast video again, because like Ludwig or Critical would get a ton of shit for being in a MrBeast video right now, justifiably so, because there's a lot of, you know, allegations that have been made. There's some seemingly very verifiable stuff to criticize Jimmy for that hasn't been addressed by him. So I think that, you know, they would get a lot of shit for that. And also you have to understand, like, the difference between someone like Critical and MrBeast is massive. As huge as Critical is, he's still like a YouTube community guy, right? He's seen as like a collaborator. He's seen as like somebody to look up to, a pillar of the YouTube community, an arbiter of morality, right? And the same kind of applies to Ludwig in a way. I don't know if it should, but the same does apply to Ludwig in a way. He's like a community guy. MrBeast, it's like, I'll put it to you this way, okay? I'm like here, okay? I'm like at the, well, I have to back up for this, okay? I have to back up. All right, so me, 1 million subscriber guy. I've got a few channels that are doing well. I'm like, Critical is like 15 times as popular as me. So he's like up here. MrBeast is like past the second floor of my house, okay? MrBeast is like in the stratosphere. He's so popular. He's so famous, and not even because of him. It's because of the content he makes. He's not even really like, I don't think a lot of people have an attachment to MrBeast's personality, because he doesn't really even have a personality in his videos. So I don't think that the average YouTube viewer is looking at this with as critical of a lens as a lot of other people are.
Made. Since they're anonymous, they're relying on your credibility to get their story out. Don't let them down.
It's like I was watching a video about like the WWE recently and Vince McMahon, right? There were a lot of claims and allegations made about Vince McMahon in the 80s and 90s, and, you know, like doping allegations, sexual assault allegations, harassment, stuff like that, right? A lot of that stuff like was in the media, it was talked about, but it wasn't like it wasn't enough to really affect the serious bottom line, seemingly, of the WWE, because it continued for years and years to soar in popularity. I think if anything, I think this is going to be, in terms of YouTube stuff, I think this is going to be a momentary hiccup. And I think within a few years, MrBeast will be back on top. What if instead of subscribers, they were called gooners and we just gooned to your videos? Freaking base, dude. That would be epic. What if you did do that? Actually, I have to change my mind. Stop gooning. Also, check this out. What do you guys think about that? You guys like my pocket goat? What do you guys think? Is it cool? Thank you, Wooden Cat, for becoming a member. It has other ones too. Look at this one. Look at this one. Oh my Fauci. Oh my Fauci. My mother used to say, you young people think you just fell out of a coconut tree. You exist in the context. You exist in the context of all that is and all that came before you. Think about that.
Oh my God, DogPack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked. And it's like, well, what's your source for it being debunked? Is it my tweet?
He's so cocky here, but meanwhile he's panicking in DMs.
Although public perception has justifiably turned on me, that video accomplished a lot as far as getting more people to come out. I refer everyone to the documentary crew now, since my credibility has obviously tanked, and I will continue to do so when MrBeast responds.
He thinks his Interesting. He thinks his credibility is going to tank when MrBeast responds. He's kind of doomer pilled. I didn't even see these DMs. Who is making that documentary? Tom Fans Equals Never Gooners. Who is actually making the documentary though? I really want to know who is making that. Is this like a Netflix thing, like a Hulu thing? Is this like a real production, or is it a YouTuber? I would really like to know what's going on there. I feel like it's probably not unrealistic that we would see a Netflix doc about MrBeast in the future. I have a feeling it might not be that good. They kind of have if you want to look at the Onision documentary, I feel like mainstream media has a habit of not covering internet stuff very well, but I would like to see it. Paramount Plus, is it? MrBeast Documentary, Paramount Plus. I can't find any information about this. MrBeast documentary. Did you just say that randomly with no citation? Fuckhead. Oh, you said I like spreading misinformation? Well, you did it successfully. You got me.
Bro, just fix the video.
DogPack's becoming Mama Max 2.0. Worst part is he's self-aware. I don't think he's that bad. The thing about Mama Max is he was like straight up fabricating evidence for these stories, right? DogPack hasn't fabricated it. He's pushed stuff that's unverified. It's not exactly the same level. And I also don't think he's nearly as mentally ill as Mama Max. I don't think that's the case. Why do you burp so much? Because I'm a gassy guy.
Yo, edit it and make a retraction. It's so easy.
Oh my god, DogPack lost all credibility. This allegation was fully debunked. And it's
What did DogPack think about this? Oh wait, I lost all my credibilities. Oh, Jesus.
MrBeast is currently being sued in a class action lawsuit by 5 contestants from his Amazon show Beast Games. But these are far from the only people that have worked for MrBeast and had issues. There's an entire catalog of people who worked for him, complained online, and got bullied into taking their videos down. Now, some of these people may be lying, but others had valid complaints that I think were ignored. Jake Weddle has claimed mental and physical damage while participating in a MrBeast challenge.
There was a video that came out probably like a year ago, something like that. It got a lot of hot water when it came out. It was the like surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary. People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me. They weren't.
I've seen a lot of people saying like Jake Weddle could have just left. He could have just left. Like it's not MrBeast's fault. You know, this guy's a crybaby. I have a more nuanced view on it. You know, Jake Weddle, is he a very silly, goofy guy? Yes. Did he blow all of his money on a shitty comedy career, and is he unfunny apart from that one? There is one Jake Weddle clip that I like a lot. Let me try to find this. Let me see this. There's this one video of him that just like pleases me. This video.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like baby Drizzy, baby Drizzy.
This guy's like me. This seems like something I would do, does it not? BBL Drizzy. BBL Drizzy.
Swear to God, I was in my room dancing like BBL Drizzy.
Run it again.
Drizzy.
Wait, you guys hearing what I'm hearing?
Drizzy.
Whoa. I might be hearing something. There might be something going on. There might be. I don't know. I could be wrong. What was that? Did you guys hear that? Do I have something open on my... No. What was that in the video? What the fuck is that? What is that? I swear to God, I have nothing open right now. I'm gonna check my task manager. What the fuck? Where's this coming from? All right. Well, whatever the case may be, wherever it's coming from, shout out to, you know, those up high for blessing me. But whatever the case, I think that Jake Weddle and like this idea that like he could have left at any time is not exactly fair. I don't think it's all encompassing. I think you have to have somewhat of a human angle here, okay? If you want to have the like autistic logical angle of like, oh, he could have left at any time. Is that true? Yes, obviously he could have left at any time. But realistically speaking, he was an employee at the company. They wanted someone in the video. They wanted him in the video. He obviously needs the money because he's not, you know, as rich as MrBeast. So if he's being offered 10 grand a day to stay in a room, he's going to do it. And I think the greater problem to me is not, you know, oh, Jake agreed to it. Like, can you put a little onus on him? Yes. But I don't think MrBeast should have been doing challenges that could potentially have that kind of psychological torment in the first place with his employees. I don't think he should have done that. I think that's a terrible idea. And you know, he got criticized for it a lot, and ultimately in the end he ended up offering Jake Weddle a bunch of money. You know, he did, which he took, although I think he didn't take all of it, which was dumb. He was like, do you want 200K? And Jake was like, I'll have 50. It was like, what? Just take it all, dude. I want 200K. What? If MrBeast offered me $500,000, I don't want to feel like a sellout. What do you mean a sellout? He's offering you money for something that you experienced, money that you feel like you deserve anyway, so why not just take it?
Turn the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we like have like nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would f up the time lapse shot. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there.
Jake only lasted 11 days, which is not enough time for a proper video, but is also a very long time without proper sleep. In this time, they had him run a marathon for a challenge.
I don't run, you know? Let alone a marathon, let alone that training for it.
You try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
There was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know?
If you're wondering what that audio hum is, it's not mine. it is in the DogPack video. Okay. The strange little audio hum is not from me. Okay. I would not be associated with such a thing. I would never have such horrible audio in my video. Okay. I'm a good guy. I'm a good freaking guy. All right. Let it be known.
Yep. And if I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing. I'm running until 3 a.m.
Was that in his video?
If I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, so much money up in flames.
What the fuck is going on? Okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep watching. I can't fuck with this too much. I'm not schizo. You guys heard that, right? This is not like the grammarizing thing, right? You in Discord? No, I'm not in Discord at all. I'm literally not.
Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing.
You have a key? I don't have a fucking keybind. I literally do not have a keybind. That's not the case. I swear to God, I'll put my hands off if it happens again. What explanation is there? My hands are off the keyboard, okay? I'm gonna press the spacebar and then we're just gonna let it play.
Until 3 a.m. All right, I got off the treadmill. The blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red. I couldn't walk. My muscles were like just the lactic acid.
So this guy's sleep deprived, has the worst blisters of his life, and wants to go home. So the production guilt trips him into staying. His mom even backs up his story.
It was brutal, and you called me from there, and I mean, you did not sound like yourself, and you were talking about how your feet were bloody and blistered and you could barely walk. You were psychologically struggling.
And that's true, but it's also not uncommon for reality TV show producers to lean on contestants to stay in during challenges they don't want to. It makes sense. There's a lot of money on the line.
There is money on the line. And I think you do have to ultimately take like the somewhat sympathetic angle here of like, regardless of the fact that Jake agreed to the challenge in my opinion should have like never happened in the first place. I don't think MrBeast should be doing challenges that can, that can result in serious psychological or physical harm. I don't think there's any reason to do that. He can easily do less harmful challenges. Tom gaslighting stream with spook MrBeast jump scares. By the way, being poor is a choice. Stop being poor, Jake Weddle. He chose less money. True.
I think Jake is actually providing a good PSA for people who want to do these reality TV show challenges. If you want to leave, you should never feel guilty. It's the fault of the production for not being able to keep you. They do casting calls, make the challenges, and can change the rules whenever they want to make sure they have a usable product. There's a lot that can go wrong when you're doing first-time challenges like this, and if something does, MrBeast needs to face the consequences. But you got a lot of people focusing on the fact that Jake Weddle is a bit of a goober. Yes, he blew the $110,000 MrBeast gave him for lasting the 11 days in the challenge.
And now I spent all that money on doing stand-up.
Yes, Jake Weddle had a meltdown on Instagram and looked stupid.
Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Go up to a rape victim and tell them it's their fault next.
It literally was not me. It literally was not me. I swear to fucking God, it was not me. I had my finger on the mouse, but I was clicking on this video. How do I prove it? How do I prove it? All right, we'll just sit. I'll talk to chat for a bit. We'll sit and talk, okay? I swear to God, it's not fucking me. I swear to God. I had no involvement. It's not me, all right? I'll put my hands behind my back. Look, you can see there's no device I have or anything, okay? There's nothing in my hand. There's nothing. Jake Weddle is he's a very sensitive guy. He's a very sensitive Sally. And for that reason, I think a lot of people don't take him very seriously. And hey, that's fair. I don't find him to be a very likable dude. But I still think that what happened to him is worthy of criticism. I think that what MrBeast did with that challenge is worthy of criticism. And I don't think that it was a good idea to do that in the first place. I think it's very criticizable. Is it as criticizable as some of the other stuff that MrBeast has done, like the Delaware situation or the seemingly legal lotteries or the seemingly promotion of gambling to kids through the, there's that crazy visual of the fucking, what was it? It was like a slot machine on the Feastables giveaway for like a car. I think that was very silly. He's an idiot for staying there. Well, he probably was thinking like, well, if I don't stay, I might get fired from my job. I might get kicked out of my job that I want to have. With MrBeast, which is probably a dream job for a lot of people. There's a lot of upwards mobility you can get in that. If you saw the MrBeast document itself, he says, look, if you work hard, if you don't make excuses for your fuck ups, if you're willing to really try your best, you can move up into this company and make a lot of money with us. So yeah, I think he'd almost be an idiot for leaving. How long do you wait after a vid comes out to react to it? It depends on the video. Typically, I try to wait a decent amount of time, but I don't think my reactions are really going to affect the viewership that much, especially considering how, the actual reactions itself is going to get posted days after the stream, maybe even a week. So yeah. He was fired at that point and came back. Oh, was he? Okay. Well, maybe, you can still make the argument that like maybe he thought he was going to get rehired if he did well in the challenge, Kind of a conflict of interest there. Were you on the other side of the argument at first? No, I wasn't. I always maintained that Jake Weddle should not have been subjected to that kind of video. I've always maintained that same. I probably made fun of him a little bit, which I think is fine, but no, I've always maintained the same position on this. Just because he's annoying and a financial retard doesn't mean what happened wasn't wrong. The money can be life changing for some. Why would you just walk away from it? Yeah, exactly. Look! I wasn't touching shit! I wasn't touching anything! You see that? I told you! You didn't fucking believe me. You didn't believe me, did you? No, you thought I was lying. You said, we can't trust Tom. He's gaslighting us. Well, what now? What now? I had no involvement, okay? I wasn't a part of this. I wasn't a part of this, all right? The allegations are untrue. The Vine Boom allegations are untrue.
Okay.
Whoa! Now this guy's comparing his story to someone who got raped?
Yes, Jake is being silly for wanting the full $300,000 even though he lasted only 11 days. I was kind of shocked for they didn't pay me for the full 25 to 30 days. To make things up, Jimmy offered Jake Weddle the extra $190,000 and Jake said no, he only took 50.
Said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental...
Did he actually compare it to being raped? Disappearing for a bit, it's been an incredibly difficult few days. As more stuff comes out, the more I'm subjected to people picking apart my testimony, discrediting me, lying about me, using my trauma for clout, comments, emails, DMs, a leaked phone number. My family's been harassed, and for what? Because I told you guys what happened to me? Because I told you guys Jimmy hires and protects PDFs. My mental health is an all-time low. It's because of you idiot hateful, and I can't stress enough, dumber than dirt trolls. What happened to me is real. You don't get PTSD over nothing. You weren't there. I was. Which makes me more informed, period. I'm the only one who has any authority over this story. And you are either a child or a sweaty edgelord dipshit. Go F yourself, go F yourself, go F yourself, go F yourself. Go up to a rape victim and tell them it's their fault next. Oh wait, that's exactly what Jimmy's fans do to the numerous allegations coming out from employees, contestants, you name it, bro. You're not a rape victim. Or if you are, it's not from this. It's very, very uncouth, insensitive comparison. Regular uploads, ugly duck workshops, podcast streaming, all picking back up next week. Taking some time to get my mental health back despite MrBeast's fans doing their best to kill me. Before I go, let me spell it out for you real slow so you can have a spoon fed to you. Are MrBeast fans harassing Jake Weddle? I don't think most MrBeast fans even know who he is. I think he's just getting criticized and memed on. What has Jake Weddle been up to? What has he been posting? Is it okay to still like Louis C.K.? Turning my haters into friends. So he is still uploading stuff. I mean, his videos aren't doing amazing, but for a channel that's, you know, relatively new, blew up recently off something that's completely unrelated to the stuff he's doing now, it's not terrible. The Yappening episode 1. Oh, brother. Turning my haters into friends. Dan Crenshaw makes the best campaign ads. Oh, no. He's going down the Ethan is online rabbit hole. Well, you know what? More power to him. I hope it works out. This actually looks like an interesting video about Louis C.K.
His story to someone who got raped?
Yes, Jake is being silly for wanting the full $300,000 even though he lasted only 11 days. I was kind of shocked for they didn't pay me for the full 25 to 30 days. To make things up, Jimmy offered Jake Weddle the extra $190,000 and Jake said no, he only took 50.
Said, hey, I wanted to reach out and say I didn't mean to cause you mental stress with that video and I apologize. Clearly it had an effect on you. You mentioned you'd like to be paid out the rest of the prize money. The other $190,000, I just couldn't take it because it's still a mechanism of the game. It's still like the rest of the prize money, and that's not what.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
What it was about.
I mean, that's literally what you were complaining about in the text messages.
But the other consistent point I was making was when you had...
That was just perfect timing. That genuinely was perfect timing. I had no involvement, but I had involvement in the GOAT, but I didn't know what was going to happen. There's no way I could know when it's going to happen.
Of no money. It's not a choice, is it? I need that money.
Yes, Jake is stupid for acting like he can't say no because he's broke. Jake, you need to stop acting like being a YouTube contestant is a viable career path.
I mean, it's hard to say no if you're broke. It's hard to say no to something that might even harm you if you think it's going to bring you some kind of like financial benefit, right? It's going to be a difficult situation, you know? Like, he probably also couldn't have anticipated the kind of mental anguish that could come from a MrBeast challenge, you know? When you think MrBeast challenge, generally you don't think you're going to be mentally tormented over it. Tom implanted the Vine Boom in all of your brains while we slept. We know you have a button on your left testy, Tom. Get out of my head. I don't even have a left testicle. I'm trans. I'm Zim.
You know, maybe if I'm nice publicly, I'll have a chance to, you know, come back and do another thing for money, whether that's work or a game, you know, whatever. You know, and that's kind of a weird system to have.
It's not meant to be your job.
But does any of that make it okay for MrBeast staff to guilt Jake with the failed production? To hear that he can't sleep and won't turn off the lights? No, at the end of the day, it's Jimmy's fault. He's getting sued by 5 of the contestants for the same sort of thing. Negligent infliction of emotional distress, sexual harassment is also in here, and although it is unclear what this means and doesn't specify if it was staff or other contestants doing the sexual harassment, it's not good. Now will MrBeast lose this lawsuit? I don't know. Lawyers talk as if it depends on if contestants legally count as employees under California jurisdiction.
These people were competing for $5 million.
Yeah, essentially a lot of the case rests on this idea that they can be called employees. In the lawsuit, they actually directly claim that MrBeast refused to classify them as employees. Same with Amazon, so they could get a big like $2 million tax credit. That could be the case. That could be why they did it, or it could be to just prevent themselves from, you know, liability that may come along with it. But one of the most telling things from the entire lawsuit was the fact that, because I read this on my channel, so I know all about it now. One of the most telling things was that MrBeast, seemingly his company had offered therapy to the contestants for free. And it's like, why would you need therapy for a MrBeast challenge? Like, something emotionally distressing must have happened, right? Stop watching this slop. Use this money to go watch Alien Romulus. You said you haven't seen it. It's better than this. I'm gonna keep watching this slop. I can't watch Alien Romulus on stream. I would. Tom, I'm so sorry. You know, money has been tight for your father and I. We made the difficult decision to sell you to One Direction. Would I fit in with One Direction? What do you guys think? I don't think I would fit in. I don't think I would fit. These guys are a lot more handsome than I am. I think I'd fit in better with maybe 5 Seconds of Summer. Yeah, these guys. I'd fit in better with them, apart from everything about how they dress. But I think I would fit in better with them. Wasn't there an Indian guy in this group? Oh, I feel like I would fit in. I should just take this guy's role. You should just slot me in with him. I think that would be good. It'd be genius even. 5 Seconds of Summer band members were once frenemies. What's that one song they have? It's like, you look so perfect standing there. Actually, I know it exactly now. You look so perfect standing there in your American Apparel underwear. You got 10 hours of silence interrupted by the Vine Boom sound effect at random interval open somewhere? I don't. That's not true. I would never do that. I certainly wouldn't lie about it. We know you're anti-gooning advocate, but I believe you should come out as anti-booming advocate. # stand against booming. But what if the boom is coming? Thank you, Lady Wild Girl, for the 5 gifts memberships. What if the boom is coming? You know that moment when it's like, here comes the boom?
We bring the boom! That's what we do! We bring the boom! We bring the boom to you!
Okay, so I have a question. This guy this is his kid. Is the other kid his kid or no? Because there's multiple like children. Is the other one his kid? The kid who like makes the silly face? Because there's AJ and Big Justice, but then there's also the Rizzler. This kid, is this his child or is this just some other guy? Like, who is this? Rizzler's is not his kid? It's actually not even his kid? The Costco family members consist of dad AJ Bafumo, son Big Justice, daughter Ashley, and mom Erica. This is him with the Rizzler. And while this core family started it all, other characters like the Rizzler have come along and collaborated with them before building their following. I've never actually had a Costco chicken bake. Are they really good? Are they on another level? Costco chicken bake. What is it?
We're Costco guys. Of course we go shopping while eating a chicken bake.
What is like bread with chicken on the inside?
We're Costco guys.
What actually is it? It's like a bread churro with like chicken in it, right? I've never had that.
Of course we had to try the new double chunk chocolate cookie.
We're Costco guys. Of course we have to try out the furniture.
I remember seeing this video and a bunch of people were like, these guys are weirdos. And I was like, this is just a normal family. And then I kept seeing them over and over. I kept seeing them for like years. I couldn't escape them. They infest every part of my life. Joey's World Tour, Chicken Bake, 8 years ago.
Woo, 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 woo. This is Joe from Joey's Super Good Food Reviews. I'm back.
This guy's so weird, man. This guy's a freak.
$1 million. Are they contestants or are they employees?
You can call them whatever you want to, but if they meet the definition of an employee, it doesn't matter what you title them. Our argument is that they are employees under California law.
The hope, dream, and expectation that you might get a payment is not the same as being an employee. Certainly, I think there's a real legal battle here that the plaintiffs will have to convince a judge that this group who signed on to be part of a show should be considered as employees, not contestants.
If not, MrBeast might not be legally liable, but does it make the conditions on set okay? Of course not. But we don't even know what the claims are. It could be someone drawing a dick on a whiteboard.
Some of the claims are more easy to figure out what's going on. Like, for example, not like no access to medications or, you know, not getting fed regularly or on time, you know, stuff like that. You know, not enough slot for the piggies. That stuff has been like corroborated by the New York Times article. But then there was like allegations of sexual harassment or assault or violence. And a lot of the information is just blacked out. It's completely redacted. So we don't even know. We don't even really know.
We'll just have to wait and see how the story develops, but looking at Jimmy's past history with employees, I could see it. He literally paid for contestants' therapy after the Beast Games. Quote,
yeah,
it was that bad. There's also been employees from years ago that have made claims about MrBeast. One employee
Did Jake Weddle come out a long time ago about this?
claims that MrBeast shows up, records his part, and then leaves.
Every MrBeast member who got fired and why. Did Jake Weddle come out previously to talk
It's
about
not even that damning of an accusation.
When you make a YouTube video for your channel, you should, we'll go film your video without you. That's cool, yeah.
MrBeast then goes on drama alert, calls the guy a liar, and brags that he paid for stuff. Not really relevant, Jimmy.
Paid for his plane ticket, his Uber, his hotel for a week, his Uber, and his plane ticket, which he made a 25-minute quote-unquote exposing video on me, but doesn't mention that I spent thousands of dollars getting him here, paid him $750 for like 5 days worth of work.
I didn't even know about this. I'll be so curious to like relitigate that entire drama. Maybe I'll watch this video after.
Which is really good pay. He has all these issues, quote unquote, but he doesn't say any of them to me while he's here. He doesn't talk to me while he's here. He just bundles it all up so he can make this 25-minute video and blow everything out of proportion when he gets home. I have Crohn's disease. Most of you don't know what it is. It was really acting up. So I said, hey, you guys go film the rest of the video. I want to go nap. I got to take it easy. Now he's making an exposed video like, oh, Mr.
I forgot he has Crohn's. That's like a shitting disease, right? Crohn's disease. Chronic inflammatory bowel disease that can affect any part of the digestive tract. It can cause inflammation in the intestinal walls, which can lead to damage and other complications. Symptoms include abdominal pain or cramping and diarrhea. So this is like genetic poop maxing kind of thing. We would that's how we would classify it, I think.
Beast doesn't film his own videos. Like, what are you going on about, man?
His employee got ratioed so hard they deleted the video. But then I see Scumbag Dad recount his time working for MrBeast, and it sounds pretty dead on.
I mean, I was supposed to be on a MrBeast collab. We were gonna do the entire skit without him there. Like, spend one day planning and rehearsing and performing the entire skit without him there. And then the next day, he shows up for 10 minutes just like as a body, like saying the words, and then he leaves to do another project. Like, that's really impersonal. You know, the entire thing is sort of morphed around you, and he's probably like checking a couple boxes. But then when it comes time to actually shoot, he shows up just like an actor. He's told what to say. Here we have da 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 da. And then they're like, all right, Beast, get out of here. You got like 5 more of these to do.
Here's another one. An intern claims he was flown out to MrBeast headquarters. He's got proof of him there. He also has proof that...
I mean, I don't know that it's such a bad thing that he's not really in the videos. I don't care about that. I don't know that it's like the worst thing in the world that he's just basically an actor in his own videos. Like, that's kind of the content he makes. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I guess the point here is just to show that, you know, seemingly that is the case from what that other employee said, that, you know, he wasn't actually in the videos. He's just kind of an actor now and then. But yeah, that's basically the whole meme behind MrBeast, right? That's kind of how he differentiates himself from other YouTubers. He's not like, when you think of a YouTuber, like someone like me, right? I have to be involved in every part of the production process. I have to be recording. Obviously I don't write all my videos. I have people who I hire to help write. But I have to like review the script. I have to be a part of it in some way. But like, even that is like kind of a far cry from how YouTubers used to be. The way a YouTuber used to be is it was one guy and he would do every part of the process, right? He would write all the videos. He would record all the videos. He would make all the thumbnails. That kind of morphed eventually into like people would hire an editor, but you're still essentially a typical YouTuber at that point, right? You wouldn't call PewDiePie like not a YouTuber because he has an editor. But what MrBeast has done is he's created this like entire production team for the content. His name is literally just the name. His personality is really not a part of the videos at all. He's just there. There's a lot of work he does for the videos, obviously. Like, I'm not trying to discount all of that, but like, you know, the typical YouTuber stuff it's all personality based. And that's just not how it is now. It's very impersonal. And you can use that to your benefit, or it can, you know, affect you to your detriment.
That he pitched an obstacle course in the sky.
Mario style, floating obstacle course. Instead of using floating block.
If it was a huge channel, then yeah, you need an editor. Well, I mean, even if you don't have a huge channel, it can be good to have an editor. Like, if you just have an editor, that just takes time that you would have to spend editing away, so you can like focus on other stuff, you know? Like, I have a bunch of editors. Like the live channel, that's all edited by my editors. All I do is like, I do my streams, obviously, and then I send the VOD to them. That's what I do. So, you know, and they collect a percentage of the revenue from the channel. That's the way we do it. They get 40%. So, I mean, having an editor can be really useful. It's just interesting to me the way MrBeast does it, where like, he's not a YouTuber at all, like literally at all. He's something else. Or if he is a YouTuber, they're like completely redefining the entire meaning of what that is. YouTube's gotten so big, you can just make kind of whatever you want. Has Tom made a statement about what's happening to the Sugandese people right now? You know, the Sugandese people, I think, are going through a really hard time. They're obviously having a very, considering geopolitical tensions, they're suffering a lot. I've avoided making a statement because things are very complicated. You know, I don't want to push a false claim about the world events, but realistically, obviously, I'm going to have some kind of personal stance on that. And I don't think it's hard to figure out if you look at my post history, you know, how I would feel about the Sugandese controversy, you know? So, yeah.
Which is impossible. We will use floating wreck hoisted by 4 cranes. Floating
This guy asking for, what was it, 200 grand? That was really funny.
rack hoisted 200 feet in the air, start from one platform to another to advance. Safety harness will be eliminated due to the net underneath the platform.
He has drawings on the whiteboard from his pitch. He says this gets approved and they start budgeting.
So I pitched this idea and they absolutely loved it. The budget was originally 1.7 million. That intro alone cost 1.7 million dollars. They've set a date, they set a location, and now they have.
Did he ask for 2 mil? Actually, I don't even remember. Did he ask for $2 million?
New renewed budget for this video, and everything's great.
Oh, I think he did. He was like, if you guys want to fight the injustice that MrBeast has done, then you can give me money right now. I was like, okay. That's weird. That's really odd.
Yeah, I'm so happy.
He got rightfully destroyed.
At the end of the day, they don't hire him and they send him home.
Unfortunately, we have decided not to move forward with your candidacy at this time. We really appreciate you coming out and vibing with us. We would consider you for a role like this in the future, but timing isn't quite right. And the rest are about receipts.
They never.
What's your opinion on the Battle of Gargalon? History in the making is wild. I think the Gargalonians are having a hard time. I think obviously, if you want to look at the numbers related to the Gargalonian genocide, I think there are some questions to be asked. But I think regardless of that, I don't think it justifies, some level of racism against the Gargalonian people. That's how I feel about that.
Never hit him back. And 4 months later, what video comes out on MrBeast?
I have built the most deadly obstacle course in the world.
It was a floating Mario course with swinging hammers. It's 200 feet in the air.
200 feet to the ground.
Held up by cranes, and they use a net instead of a harness.
Also, take your harness off. No. If for whatever reason he fails this obstacle course, he free falls 200 feet into a net.
MrBeast's defense that he gave to Dromler wasn't that this guy lied about his pitch, it's that MrBeast had cartoon thumbnails as concepts in 2023, since Fall Guys came out. When you think about it for more than a second, this doesn't make any sense. This guy being flown out, pitching his idea, and it coming together to a T is far more compelling evidence than this cartoon AI artwork. Ty got so much that he had to turn off the comment, even though he's probably right. But then the question is, does Jimmy need to hire?
Okay, Willy Mac, that's not entirely accurate. He got so much shit because he was asking for $2 million from people in exchange for nothing. He was literally eBaying on the internet. That's why he got shit. He didn't have to turn off the comments. He chose to because he made a serious misstep in his allegation. What about the Schlongdonians? Odd that you comment on the other tragedies, but not this one. I want to be honest. I'm going to leave the Schlongdonian issue up to the professionals. Okay, I can't weigh in too much. There's some money coming in from an unknown source. I can't really get deep into that, but obviously there's certain things I can't talk about, and the Schlongdonian situation is going to be one of those.
Hire someone because he made a good pitch for a video. No, but you should probably compensate him. He slandered him instead.
Shut the fuck up. Nobody even wants you here.
Here's a list of things Jimmy is guilty of, but how much it matters is going to vary person to person. Jimmy did illegal lotteries a lot.
They're illegal lotteries where the only way to win a prize is by making a purchase.
In 10 minutes, right?
I feel like I wish this was talked about more in all these allegations, because this was like such a huge deal. I mean, obviously DogPack did talk about it, but I feel like a lot of people haven't been really focusing on it. It's crazy to me that like the Lunchley thing right now is overshadowing the alleged illegal lotteries. MrBeast stole my completely original idea of Mario in real life based. Do you think the Dugan claims over Gut are legit? No, honestly. I mean, this is the thing I've been saying about like the D's situation. Like everybody wants to talk about D's. It's like, I don't know. There's a lot of allegations against D's. I don't know what's true and what's not, The D situation is insane to me.
Because we got to give them time to do their cart. We'll give 2 orders $500 each. 5 minutes, someone's getting $3,000 in their order. In 5 minutes, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to put $1,000 in a random order.
If you are not the government, you cannot sell something that enters you into a lottery. There has to be some sort of no purchase necessary way to enter. Lawyers have explained this.
All 3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government.
Now, I don't care about this because most YouTubers don't know it's illegal. This happens on YouTube all the time. Here's Captain Sparkles explaining it.
The way that I found out about illegal lotteries to begin.
Well, they may not know it's illegal, but it's still a problem, right? They still shouldn't be doing that. It's still a worthy criticism. Like, just because you don't know you're committing a crime doesn't mean you are. Who is D's? You don't want to ask that question to me.
With is because I accidentally did one. I did a charity live stream. and I said, hey, wouldn't it be cool if the people who donate to the charity I'm raising money for could be eligible to win a prize in a giveaway? You can't actually do that. Does this mean that MrBeast conducted illegal lotteries within this live stream?
Didn't Legal Eagle talk about how it's legal because it's not broadcast, it's online? I believe he did talk about that. I mean, the thing is, could he be held legally liable? Maybe not. But I still think we should still, I think regardless of if he could be held legally liable, it's still a worthy criticism of him, right? Like, is the internet held to the same standards as like TV broadcast? Not always. Should it be? I think in a lot of cases, probably. It'd be good to regulate this stuff. You know, regulation exists for a reason. It's to prevent abuse of power, it's to prevent scams, to prevent unscrupulous behavior. You know, I think it would be good in certain cases for, you know, the FTC, for example, to look into, you know, crypto rug pulls and like cryptos, stuff like that. Thoughts on the Skibbity toilet genocide by the Astros? Hey, the Astros have a right to secure a homeland for their people and a future for Astral children. They got to do what they got to do. As much as I love Skibbity, he's not looking. It's fine.
Yes. Seems more like an oversight and not realizing that you're not allowed to do it.
Jimmy stopped doing this years ago, probably because he was informed by his legal team to do so. So how mad you're going to be at him is going to depend if you think he was doing it illegally on purpose or not. I seriously doubt it. What I do get the outrage for is the ridiculous requirements for his no purchase necessary Feastables sweepstakes.
The only place you'll find no purchase necessary is either on the Feastables Twitter account because it's a rule of the platform, and even still they try to push it. No perch neck. And to enter for free, you have to mail in separate 3" by 5" hand-addressed written index cards.
Normally you either mail one letter to a PO box or fill out an online survey and give your email, not mail 10 individual index cards. That sounds like a Dr. Doofenshmirtz evil plot. MrBeast is also guilty of faking signatures. It seems like every employee knows how to write Jimmy's.
So here's a clip of Tyler forging, or not, maybe not forging, using
This is like a scam. This right here seems like it's a total scam.
MrBeast's signature.
And look, it's probably not illegal.
It's crazy they did it on live stream too and just didn't think anyone would notice. Like, you're on a live stream to like 400,000 people. You're like trying to get away with faking a signature. You're like looking around like, is anyone looking at me? There's a fucking camera in front of you, dumbass. What do you think? What do you think?
Legal because it technically falls under the company's signature, but it's still misleading your fans and is wrong. MrBeast also has some rigged aspects to his videos. Most of those can be contested, but there is one that is undeniable to me. Jimmy's friend and now employee Mac has appeared in a lot of MrBeast videos. He usually tries really hard and makes it far in these competitions, but in this one, I'll just show you.
To be honest, there's 100 people here. I'm not gonna win. What's the point?
Hey, everybody! This guy just said he wants to get out. Step out. Oh. Even though you got out first, I still have a prize for you. Just wait here. Congratulations, you just won a brand new car for being first out.
Oh, Andy stepped out perfect.
I like how they're like revving a Civic. Just revving like a standard stock Civic. That's so cool.
Perfectly in shot right where Jimmy is standing. It's so obviously rigged.
Close your fucking mouth, you're just really fucking dead.
It is rigged. I'm curious, how much do you guys care about that? Like, I was more obstinate in the beginning about like, well, who cares if the videos are faked? But when you think about it, if it's like a competition where a lot of people who are in it are under the impression that it's like a fair and equal competition where any of them have the equal chance of winning, you know, it makes sense for those kind of people to have a problem with the fact that he's, you know, rigging it. Like, do I care about the videos being faked that are like the raccoon or whatever? No, I don't give a shit. But for a competition where it's supposed to be fair and equal and the contestants are under the impression that is the case and then it ends up being rigged, I think that is, you know, rather scummy. Like the video about like them going to some like abandoned town, if that's fake, I don't know. I don't care that much. Don't care if it's rigged, don't lie and say it isn't. Interesting. So as long as he's honest about it being rigged, you wouldn't care? I'm upset at the raccoon being a paid actor. Based. If he claims they aren't fake, they shouldn't be fake. So your problem is more with the lack of transparency. Okay.
You hate me while you talking, you don't make no fucking sense.
People are pissed at MrBeast because he's done a lot wrong. Some of it is sneaky, some of it is illegal, and some of it is downright evil.
I've spoken to the victim, but the victim was trying to get hush money.
The victim was trying to get hush money. Oh shit. They were like, pay me. I don't care. Pay me.
You were right. They are gonna come to that.
And it's led to people getting mad at Jimmy for stuff that either isn't true, is taken out of context, or is an industry standard. DogPack claims that MrBeast is breaking broadcast standards and practices laws because he is influencing the game show to make it more dramatic and competitive, like paying the Rubik's Cube guy to quit for the boys team.
And what's even worse is that the results of this video were completely scripted. According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, Production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer. You can actually see some of this happen on camera, like when Jimmy pays one of the boys $10,000 to leave, which is twice as much as the actual prize money, but doesn't make the same offer to the girls.
The boys were blowing you out of the water. I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave. Now if you don't win, that was all for nothing.
In traditional media, this kind of rigging is actually completely illegal.
And then we have a standards and practices person. And if you don't know what that is, on any kind of a game show where there is a prize, you have to have somebody that ensures that it's fair. They are out there essentially to make sure that we don't do something that would favor.
The fact you have to bring up the raccoon is cooked is just another example of actual legitimate claims being undermined by dumb shit. Yeah, I mean, it's not that egregious. It's kind of a joke from DogPack's video, but at the same time, when you've got so many people looking at this stuff, a lot of them are going to focus on, like, shit that doesn't actually matter, you know, the raccoon being fake. But in fairness, I haven't seen that many people talk about, like, oh, he faked the raccoon. I see more people being like, it's silly that he even brought up that he faked the raccoon. I mean, that's the majority of the conversation around it.
One player or one tribe.
What MrBeast is doing is completely legal because you can make whatever game show you want. Tons of game shows do this, but I'll let a lawyer explain.
DogPack alleges that MrBeast rigged the game so that the boys didn't win by so much. At one point, he says he wanted to make the game more competitive by trying to introduce more boys to drop out. And in one sense, you know, duh, this is a MrBeast video. He makes various offers and changes the rules to make things more entertaining. He manipulates the events to add drama, much like any game show where things occur to make things interesting. But here, let's make a distinction. There are the rules as laid out to the contestants before they participate, and the rules as laid out in the video. Now, you can imagine that the contract between the contestant and, I don't know, Beast Enterprises lays out certain terms for the relationship. Now, I've never seen one of those contracts. My guess is that it gives Beast Enterprises quite a lot of flexibility to deal with the contestant. And then there are the terms that show up in the final video after the filming. Those might not be the same. Now, whether you're allowed to change the rules in the video largely depends on how much freedom you have in the rules.
People don't like being lied to. I mean, I guess that makes sense. For me personally, it was just never like, I didn't really care that he was lying about the videos being real or not, because I don't watch MrBeast. Like, it's not made for me. It's made for kids, so it didn't particularly bother me, you know? Like, the level of a lie I think is important. Like, is lying across the board bad? Yeah. Is him lying about, like, finding a Roblox chicken nugget under a tree less bad than him lying about, let's say, Delaware stuff? Obviously.
In your contract with the contestant. The reason for this is the First Amendment. You're generally allowed to produce whatever kind of TV show you want, or YouTube video that you want. It was thought, and still is, that when it came to shows that were broadcast over the air before cable TV, or largely the internet, because that was a limited resource, the argument went, the government had more say over what could be broadcast.
MrBeast isn't even trying to be sneaky about it.
Boys were blowing you out of the water. I paid the one guy who knew how to solve them to leave.
It's a stupid criticism where you have to be a child to care. DogPack also alleges that Jimmy doesn't have random subscribers feature in his video.
I mean, I think if the contestants are under the impression that is a fair competition, then it makes sense to care. If not, if they know going into it, it's going to be rigged, it's going to be bullshit, they're just being in a video, then that would make more sense, I think.
Promising big rewards in return. Now it's your turn to do what MrBeast tells you, and you will win big rewards. But you actually won't unless you're famous or friends or family of a MrBeast employee. Seriously, we always fly subscribers down. They never fly random subscribers down. When they do pull someone from outside of North Carolina, it's usually somebody who's in the industry, who's camera trained, who has built a following.
All it took was one person to read the name tags of the contestants and then reach out to them. Here's people that live in Ohio, Missouri, Illinois, California, Colorado. The one that responded says he was flown out, and none of them have a big following. So if DogPack had no real evidence to back this up, why did he make the claim at all? Well, it's because he recognized some of the employees in the videos.
I mean, it's not like he's ever rigged the results of a challenge. That would be impossible because he films with hundreds of random subscribers, right? Wrong. Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend.
So that means none of them can be random.
So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to MrBeast, and oftentimes friends and family of.
But if they're local to MrBeast, they're still random, right? Like, obviously they just want to get more local people because it's more convenient to get them in than it would be if they were like people they flew out from Alaska, right? I mean, is putting like friends and family in the videos maybe a bad idea? Yeah, but it's not like all of them. It's not like there are no random people who are chosen. Like not every single person in the videos is an employee.
Of MrBeast employees or just the employees themselves.
It's such an obvious logical fallacy. Bro, you really couldn't think of one other reason why employees might be in the video? It's been explained on podcasts before.
If I'm not mistaken, you were in 100 Girls vs 100 Boys for $500,000.
Yes, that was an accident. I'd never ask him to be on a video. If I accidentally win, it might look like it was planned. On the day, everybody had to go for COVID tests. A lot of people came and they tested positive. And the girls somehow ended up with way too little contestants. So I got a call randomly from the studio and they're like, we need a female. I'm like, I am a female.
A MrBeast employee named Chucky explained that DogPack also implies the video was faked because we have some employees in the video that were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID. There is nothing illegal about this. This happens in all sorts of productions. Otherwise, they would lose millions of dollars just because a few people don't show up.
There's absolutely nothing illegal about using friends or acquaintances in your videos. And it doesn't necessarily follow that just because MrBeast might have known some of the people who appeared in his videos that he rigged the videos in their favor. Now, your mileage may vary as to whether it's a good or bad look to include friends in videos where there's money on the line. Now, arguably, you might conclude that if the video makes it appear that every contestant is random, and it turns out that that's not the case, then it makes it more likely that the outcome is rigged in their favor. MrBeast, after all, might want to patronize his friends. But you might also conclude that there is no connection between the identity of the contestants and the outcome. Now, I haven't reviewed every single MrBeast video. I have a life. Personally, I think this is probably closer to the truth, but I can see how people might feel deceived. And as it happens, I happen to know several people who have appeared in MrBeast videos. Again, because he needed someone to fill in at the last second and they happened to be nearby. It was definitely not rigged or predetermined. Now, I can't speak to all of MrBeast videos, but in at least one instance where he knew the contestants, the video was certainly not rigged.
There's so many random no-name people that have competed in MrBeast challenges that have no following. And let's face it, if contestants were routinely abused during production, or if all the videos were scripted, there would be hundreds of testimonies, not just the handful we have now. MrBeast can't stop his own employees from...
I'm curious what DogPack would say to that. Would he be like, well, you're using a logical fallacy by misinterpreting my argument? I wasn't saying that every single person who is in the competitions is, you know, a not random person. I wasn't saying that every single, you know, person who wins is an employee. It just happens a lot of the time. I'd imagine that's what his response would be.
Constantly leaking stuff? How can he stop random contestants? The complaints from DogPack are so nitpicky sometimes. Oh, he used CGI in a video. That means the video is fake.
You ever faked a video?
No. But this train track is CGI.
The tip of the train track is CGI because he thought it looked better when it rolled into the pit.
These bus wheels are CGI. This explosion is fake. The shredder is CGI.
Of course it's fake. It's not passed off as real.
This island costs more than $1.
Yes, it cost them $1 and then $27 in taxes and fees. Dude, MrBeast is such a liar!
Yeah, this was like a retarded thing. Like who... I don't care about that at all. Like, it's not a $1 island. Okay, thank you.
This raccoon is a paid actor.
Yo, that raccoon is a paid actor. If you watch the video, it is clearly a domesticated raccoon. It's used as a bit where the raccoon shows up and they all freak out. How much you care is up to you. You know, I really didn't care about all the pedos, but this raccoon, too far.
Got a sad life, go to fucking hell. Are you stupid or disabled, man? I can't fucking tell.
This last section is just a few of the many allegations that I think make zero sense. DogPack tries to blame a rocket ship blowing up on Jimmy.
MrBeast did a live stream where for only $10, viewers could send a picture to...
This was like super dumb. Like, I understand people feeling jilted because their sticker or whatever didn't actually get on the moon, but like the rocket blew up. He can't control the rocket blowing up. It's a fucking rocket that goes into space. Think of the dono Shadow. Can we stop giving DogPack benefit of the doubt and motive? I think it's over. I mean, I think his motive is good. I think he thinks he's doing the right thing, but you can still criticize him. I'm not saying that should like make your criticism softer of him. I'm not saying that it should like make every claim he makes based and true. I'm just saying I'm just speculating that in my estimation, I don't think he thinks he's doing the wrong thing. I think he thinks he's doing the right thing. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should like be softer on him.
To the moon. 3 years later, the spaceship finally launched, carrying beautiful pictures of deceased loved ones to the moon where they would be immortalized. It fucking exploded.
How would he know that? He acts like this was a scam.
So obviously MrBeast refunded everyone, right? Right? Is it MrBeast's fault that the rocket exploded? No. Is it his fault that he advertised it as for $10 I will put your photo on the moon when he couldn't guarantee that? Yes.
Well, I mean, he thought he could guarantee it. It's a fucking rocket. It blew up. Like, I don't know. It's really his fault. I get people being frustrated with it, but blaming MrBeast for that just seems very silly. Should he have refunded people? I guess. Rockets are cool. They're interesting.
NASA couldn't guarantee the Challenger from exploding. How could MrBeast? The shuttle exploding is an
Should he have refunded them? Yeah, I think so. But I don't know. There's a little too much onus being placed on him here.
obvious risk when paying for this. He goes on to blame MrBeast for obesity around the world and calls MrBeast a hypocrite for caring about people's health because he sells chocolate, and that's unhealthy.
Like, MrBeast is bringing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of new people to the candy aisle, whether he wants to admit it or not.
People are just walking to the chocolate aisle, and instead of buying Hershey's, buying Feastables. Like, people who never would have bought chocolate in Walmart are walking to the chocolate aisle specifically to buy Feastables.
You're creating a new market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm bringing new customers to the aisle.
That's an incredible business achievement.
But I know that poor diet and especially excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems.
I mean, I understand the criticism that he's acting like he's like stopping obesity or making people healthier. You know, he's kind of getting his cake and eating it too, because it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm helping people be healthy, but at the same time, it's like the chocolate is still chocolate is bad for you. So I think that's a worthy criticism. But I wouldn't care about it unless MrBeast had been like I'm a healthy guy, right? Like, I wouldn't give a shit.
Problems in America, including some of the health problems that MrBeast claims to care so much about: blindness, deafness, loss of limbs.
Wow, Jimmy's killing people. Jimmy doesn't want people to be blind, so he should stop selling his chocolate bar. Real sound logic. These people were mostly blind from cataracts, not a sugar overdose.
They can't see, but we have all the technology to fix it.
Yep, half of all the blindness in the world is people who need a 10-minute surgery.
It's worse than COVID. Hospitals are overrun with MrBeast customers losing limbs.
MrBeast also just launched a combo with Zaxby's, which if you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories.
If $14 is a lot to someone, they shouldn't donate it to a YouTuber. Well, yeah, obviously.
For one meal.
We are just about to witness San Kaboy, a 59-year-old woman, receive prosthetic legs and walk for the very first time.
This make me cry because this special for her. Thank you.
Wow, what a hypocrite. Did I miss the part where he said to eat this every day? 6 Feastables a day?
Dark chocolate is cool. It depends on the mood you're in. Sometimes dark chocolate is just too bitter. Sometimes you just want a nice milk chocolate bar. I think milk chocolate is undoubtedly better than dark chocolate in terms of taste. Now, is dark chocolate better for you? Probably, but come on, bro. You're gonna tell me you wake up in the morning preferring a nice bitter piece of dark chocolate? And only weird people like that, okay? I'm American. I'm not from fucking Italy. I'm gonna eat the milk chocolate. I'm gonna eat the Crunch bar. I'm gonna eat the Snickers bar, okay?
Adults, children, we all enjoy unhealthy foods. It's all about eating it in moderation. Let's stop being Karens about a fast food collab. MrBeast launched a Lunchable knockoff that is slightly healthier than a normal Lunchable. It has Prime instead of a Capri Sun. And people lost their minds. DogPack posts Lunch.
Yeah, I think people lost their minds more because of who's selling it rather than what the actual product is.
Actually, as part of a genius YouTube strategy, here's how. Unhealthy, lethargic kids provide a higher audience retention rate than healthy, active kids. By creating food products that debilitate his audience, MrBeast is able to increase the average view duration. This is a key metric to getting promoted by the YouTube algorithm.
In fairness, DogPack's kind of joking here. He's kind of being facetious. He's being silly.
So MrBeast doesn't just optimize his content for the YouTube algorithm, he optimizes his audience as well. Now, DogPack would get heat for this delusional take, and he backtracked saying it was just a joke. But we just watched a whole section of his video where he said MrBeast was killing people, making them lose limbs and die.
Excessive sugar consumption is the #1 cause of death and health problems in America.
That's fair.
He's retweeting people who are calling it poisonous to kids. This is what I ate for lunch.
Poisoning.
Microplastics in it made me stronger. I don't get why MrBeast is expected to fix the school lunch system. These are unreasonable expectations for a YouTuber. Your product is processed garbage with no nutritional value. Of course it is. It's a knockoff Lunchables. He never claimed otherwise. What is he supposed to be selling?
I think people take issue because he framed it as being healthier, and they did a whole promo where they were like, oh, it's healthier, you know, which is like, I think a lot of people see that and they're like, oh, well, it's healthy, right? And it's like, well, no, it's probably maybe, if anything, slightly less bad than a Lunchable, ever so slightly, you know?
Selling salads? If you don't like it, just don't buy it for you or your kid.
You should really poo, pee, penis and vagina. Women with dicks and weak men with vagina.
DogPack is going to falsely accuse somebody and make the real allegations seem less credible. I'd argue he's already done that.
The allegations that I thought was less credible was that Locoya Hill roofied people.
You still put it in the video.
I was very borderline.
And made that claim yourself.
But you did it anyway.
But since I published that, it's been more corroborated.
You should corroborate that before you put it in. MrBeast is going to respond, but only when DogPack finishes putting out the allegations. The thing is, he won't do it. He keeps teasing it. He wants to save it for later.
Video, you kind of called it a 2.5.
So there is going to be an official third, perhaps after Jimmy decides to make a statement.
Yeah, like, man, just fire James Warren and Locoya Hill. Fire them, don't just move them around. Or I'm going to start dropping nukes. And I have a lot of other interviews and other allegations that I'm working on putting together, so I have something for when MrBeast responds.
It doesn't make any sense to me. The allegations should be able to stand on their own. How can MrBeast give an accurate response if you don't accurately put the allegations out there? It's fucking stupid. There's a lot more criticism that could go around, but that'll have to be for another time. Subscribe to the channel and be sure to check out Z-Biotics. Shout out to the home.
All right, well, I think that was a good video. There was stuff I agree with, stuff I disagree with. Overall, good video. What do you guys think? How do you guys feel about that? I feel like he did a good job of parsing the more credible allegations against MrBeast. You know, the more important stuff. I think illegal lotteries he could have come down harder on, but I think overall he did a good job of covering a lot of this shit, and like parsing out DogPack's missteps with MrBeast's missteps and just like comparing and contrasting. I think it's a pretty good video. I am still very curious to see how this is going to affect MrBeast going forward. I'm very, very curious about that. I don't like the fact he got the Ty situation wrong. Yeah, he did get that a little wrong for sure, because Ty got backlash for asking for money, not just for like people being mad that he shit talked MrBeast. He released it during the prime time to shit talk MrBeast. He got a lot of positive feedback for everything he said, minus the fact that he was begging for millions of dollars from his audience for nothing. How will this affect MrBeast's legacy? I guess we'll find out. MrBeast too big to fail? I don't know that anyone is truly too big to fail. I think it's more like he exists in a very different area of like appeal than a lot of other people. Like if MrBeast was a commentary channel, he would have a much harder time defending himself than the guy who makes like silly videos about challenges and competitions, right? There is kind of a difference there. Doesn't the full legal vid make the illegal lottery seem weak? In terms of it being illegal, potentially, I think it could still be an immoral. It could still be an immoral lottery for sure. Could he be charged? Probably not. The fact that he hasn't been at this point makes me think he probably won't be, but yeah. Anyhow.